It's been an epic 3 weeks of qualifying. We went to Manila, Luzon, Mindanao, and today we're going to Visayas. This is Predator League Philippines 2025. I'm Datum here with Ramon, and this is going to be the final leg of Stage 1.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here, Datum. I watched all the action happening yesterday week, and it's been fun all throughout. But man, my goodness, I missed you so much. You guys had a lot of fun last week out of the studio. I just wanted to have all the action yet again. So I'm back in the studio, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a long day full of Valorant, and of course, I'm pretty excited to see who comes out on top in the Visayas region.
Me too. I mean, Visayas has been brimming with Valorant talent now. But before we continue on with the games today, Predator Gaming, of course, I want to say a little bit about this, is authorized to officiate the Predator League PH 2025 as an official tournament registered under the approval of the Games and Amusement Board. Thank you so much to Gab.
Yep, and it's been a pretty long tournament so far. 4 weeks in the making. We are at the final qualifier for the first stage as well. And, you know, it's been a little confusing, even for me, as somebody who has been casting behind the scenes as well, who also is following, of course, this year's format for Predator League 2025. So if you guys want to look out for what's to come for the tournament as well, then be sure to watch out this full video where it will explain. Yes, sir. We're one step closer towards the main event as we're about to close out Stage 1, which has been the LAN qualifiers all throughout the Philippines. One day done, Datum, and I feel like we're just getting closer and closer towards Cebu, where all the glory, all the action is going to be happening all towards that side of the Philippines.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Speaking of Cebu, that is the region we're playing for today. It's the Visayas qualifier, guys, so it's the last chance for the teams in that area to qualify for Stage 4. Mind you, we saw the explainer kanina, no? Stage 4, diretso doon yung mananalo today.
Yeah, exactly, right? Which is more important na masabi natin kung sino ang nagbigay ng importansya, nagbigay ng parang masabi mong naging posible ang Predator League 2025, which are the sponsors. Of course, we have with access to 100 plus 8 AAA games. This is your sign to subscribe to PC Game Pass. Get your first 3 months with every purchase of a Predator laptop. Check out any Acer Predator laptop right here, right now.
Yeah, absolutely free of charge. Predator nang bahala sa inyo. As long as you buy a laptop now, you get 3-month access to PC Game Pass. Guys, there's a lot of games up there, up for grabs for free. And also, guys, gotta remind the viewers that hindi lang yung teams yung pwedeng manalo today. Sila din. We do have a ton of Predator Gaming merch to give away today. All you have to do to join the mechanics or the giveaway is to like and follow Predator Gaming, share the stream using PLPH 2025, and comment which team tingin nyo mananalo sa ating Visayas qualifier. Make sure to support the teams you're rooting for in the comments below.
Yep. Just to give you a bit of an emphasis on what you guys are going to be doing para makuha nyo yung mas pa din. So be sure to check all the guys out. By the way, it has been a very long qualifier right here. Top 12 na naman tayo at napakadugo na naman ang naging bracket natin for today. Talagang ang daming lumaban sa mismong Visayas qualifiers. A few VCT noted teams as well. We saw Meteor Garden versus Senvibe doon sa first round natin, which of course Meteor Garden won. And I feel like they could be the superstars heading into the semifinals right here since Visayas has always been known to be one of the stronger regions when it comes to local Valorant as a whole, right? And sino ba yung mga naiisip mo kapag nasa Visayas galing? Si Exotic, yung team na galing sa Split 1 VCT as well. A lot of teams, a lot of superstars from the Philippines as well come out of this region, and this is no different as well. Kasi feeling ko, dito tayo makakita ng susunod nating napakalakas na galing sa Visayas.
Man, yung favorite ko nun, Zeal Esports.
Oh, yeah.
All the way back in 2020, 2021, this was a team of a young roster but very deadly. Speaking of teams, we got Meteor Garden, Curao, and then Team Prano Puli versus Velocity Gaming. And I gotta love the dedication dito ng Velocity Gaming. This is their second time in the qualifier.
Yeah, and they're the only team to actually have this chance to actually go for the second time in a row. A redemption story in the making for Velocity Gaming as well. And a redemption story as well for a few of their players, since a few of them actually was this close to qualify to the VCT playoffs as well. So, you know, this could be their big chance to actually hold up a Tier 1 event as well. Baka makapunta sila sa Cebu, baka makapunta din sila sa Malaysia.
Yeah, absolutely stoked for that. No, you saw the schedule. We have 3 matches for today. 2 semi-final matches, that's best of 1s, and then isang best of 3. And alam mo, Chris, no, yung in the past qualifiers that we've had, the map played absolute importance in winning for a lot of the teams involved, no. But what do you think is, or what do you want to see? What map do you want to see today?
You know what? To be honest, I really want to see Abyss again, because it's been it's been fairly fresh, and a lot of teams don't really haven't really shown us like the most optimal way to actually play it out, right? I get it. A lot of people like to like optimize their way into like these sort of bonus rounds, and they try to deny them a lot of ult by just jumping off of the map. But I kind of wanted to see people shoot each other. And at the end of the day, when it comes to like very long executes, when it comes to these very long rotations on the CT side, that's like the biggest punish. Like if you're not that careful, then it's pretty easy for you to actually get caught off guard.
Well, let's take a look what the map is going to be for our best of 1 series. The first one for today is going to be Abyss.
Nah.
No, it's not. It's going to be Haven. And I do have to say I like Haven over Abyss, Chris, because Abyss is a bit of a headache to play in.
I mean, maybe because I've been pretty comfortable about it. But of course, Haven is one of those maps where it's been touted as one of the Filipino maps nga naman. Ang daming mga teams na marunong maglaro ng Haven. Always the default positions when it comes to the T side. Masala lang kapag attackers ka, ang dami mong pwedeng gawin. Pwede kang gumawa ng a bit of noise on one side of the map. You can see that a lot of teams like to lead their lurker doon sa may garage position para makakuha ng a bit of space, a little map control. Habang yung ingay naman nangyayari dun sa may A site, which is something that's also interchangeable. Pagtagal na din ng laro, diba? So that's a lot of things that a lot of teams like to do. But sometimes there's this one team in a tournament that just goes all out, all in, with all 5 players rushing down on the site. And that's kind of really interesting to see, because sometimes some teams are not coordinated to do that. But sometimes they are, and that's just really chaotic to watch.
And I love having Haven in best of 1s as well here, Chris, because you said it yourself. A lot of Filipino teams love playing this map. So that means everyone's got a lot of experience in this map, right? It really is sort of the trendsetter here. If you're good in Haven, you can beat other teams in Haven. You really have that experience. And I think that's the perfect setup here, particularly for Meteor Garden and Curao, to sort of set the benchmark as to where they are, especially going up against whoever in the grand finals.
Yeah, that's true, right? I mean, in the Visayas region, a lot of superstars have come out of this within their history. You already mentioned the Zeal roster back in the days. Remember 6045 Pirates? They're basically the same team.
Yeah, they are.
They are the same team, basically, right? But that just also shows you that the Cebu region, the Visayas region as a whole, in my eyes, is fully committed to actually improving like the grassroots scene, just so that they can find themselves like the biggest superstar that they could have, the next superstar. Malay mo, nandito sa Visayas ang susunod nating Tens. Since bago retire lang naman ni Tens, diba? So, you know, maybe there's a chance, maybe Predator League could be a stepping stone for them, if not like their whole rocket ship towards Tier 1.
And this is one of my favorite things about Predator League, right? It showcases the talent from all regions of the Philippines. But here we go, we're ready with the Agent Select screen. Meteor Garden on the left, Curao on the right. And wow, we're going to be seeing Arena today. It's been a while since I've seen Arena.
I know, right? Pretty risky. I mean, it's a bit feast or famine. But if you can get your Arena pretty hot into the game, then it's going to be very difficult to shut them down, since once you get one kill, it's either going to be a heal up or at least another dismiss for them to reposition themselves without any refrags whatsoever. But I am looking at one of these teams and Curao in position. I do like that they have Skylar Vaughn in their roster, because this guy is actually, he has been top 5 in the APAC leaderboard for a long time now, guys. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen this guy be picked up by a team, let alone now play in the qualifiers alone. So this guy's going to be a superstar in the making. If you had Corazon right there with you, who's also touted as one of those players that has been really bit of an underrated pick in the collegiate scene.
Yeah.
It just seems like a powerhouse duo that I kind of want to bank on when I want to look towards my superstars.
And when you take a look at the roster as well of Corao, right? Not just of the players, but of their composition that they built. You typically get a Jet with a Breach, but with the Neon being supplemented by that Breach, you have that sort of extra layer of stuns, right? You can basically stun a player in a short corner for a long time if you layer your utility properly. And that's not the case here for Meteor Garden, seeing as they opted for the double duelist. Remember, guys, if you go up for a double duelist, you lose out on an initiator, and if it's especially up against a breach, there's going to be a massive difference in terms of utility here, especially because, well, 13N is playing the Reyna here, the one agent that has the least amount of utility in the whole game, right? So it's going to be a bit of a challenge for Meteor Garden, how they're going to approach this attacking side. But you said it yourself, Chris. Some teams, they just like to send it, and sometimes it works.
Yeah, sometimes this kind of works, right? That's why a lot of teams, when they're on the double duelist comp, they kind of want to just go back and see if they can play for the retake anymore, because the limited amount of utility is the only thing that they can work through. And if they can't actually work through that, then that's going to be a very, very big problem. But, you know, ladies and gentlemen, good things must come to a very, very quick wait. A little bit of patience will go a long way, because we're going to be going into a very, very short break. Don't go anywhere, as the Visayas qualifier will be right back.
The X38 is the latest high-octane curved display from Predator. This zero-frame behemoth has a 37.5-inch span and a 2300R curve in glorious 21:9, so that you can fill your peripheral vision with pure gameplay for all-out immersion. And with a very ergonomical stand, positioning this colossal display is quite easy, allowing you to tilt, pivot, swivel, and adjust the height as needed, so that comfort is maintained even through long gaming sessions. Naturally, you have all the latest ports needed, as well as two powerful 7-watt speakers should a headset not suffice. Though the X38 is ideal for hardcore enthusiasts and esports pros alike, what sets it apart, besides a crisp, ultra-wide QHD Plus resolution, is the Agile Splendor IPS panel it uses. This panel makes it possible to push the response time up to 0.3 milliseconds, while maintaining a color gamut of DCI-P3 98% and Delta E less than 2, so that colors and details remain vivid. Add on the 175Hz refresh rate and you have a blisteringly fast monitor that keeps all the fast-paced action coming through nice and smooth with almost no ghosting, color bending, or torn frames. To make sure those frames look as pristine as possible, NVIDIA G-Sync keeps frame rate locked to the output of your GPU, while Display HDR 400 certification allows you to enjoy HDR content in or outside of gaming. So if you're looking to go all out, it's time to introduce the monumental X38 to your game setup.
Bossing! Sana hindi kayo nakapaghintay ng ganong katagal kasi nang babalik ang Visayas Qualifier para sa Premier League Philippine Qualifiers. So, plus your mga kasama si Daydom and we are back para makas na namin finally ang pinakaunang semifinals para sa Visayas Qualifier.
Yes. We're finally starting with the first matchup of the day, guys. This is already the semifinals. Kung sino man yung mananalo sa best of 4 na to, they're gonna go to the grand finals where they have a chance to get to stage 4. Immediately, diretso na sila doon.
Oh, literal. Yan yung incentive. Sa mga pumupunta mismo sa mga LAN qualifiers natin, and take note, ito yung huli na LAN qualifier para makapasok din sa stage 4. Ang mga gustong sumunod ay dapat maglaro sa stage number 2. Yun yung madugo. Kasi online qualifier na yun eh. Literal, kahit sino pwede mag-sign up. Literal na kahit sino pwede mo makalaban.
And you gotta remember, this is Meteor Garden versus Curao, right? We've noted some very experienced players on the side of Curao, if I'm not mistaken. No?
Yep.
And, that really goes to show that the talent dito na meron sa ating Visayas qualifier is really high. No? I mean, despite the fact that there's a lot of pro players hailing from that particular area, we didn't necessarily recognize majority of the players sa ating lobby today. No? So that means, sigurado ako madaming sumali na pro player na talaga. They took them out.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of possibilities, but we're about to find out if the players on this server are ready to take the mantle of the Predator Shield. This is the first game, ang Haven map. Double Duelist versus Double Initiator. At tandaan nyo, this is Skylar Von and Corazon, the duo that want to wreak havoc on the attacking side.
Yes, here we go. Early recon coming through as Skylar Von slides through into that A long spot. Medyo mabagal muna yung approach nila dito, no? Right after breaking down the recon dart. And actually, one of their players does go down. On speed, nahanap doon ni Dale. Pero may shorty si Junjo. Down in sewers. Nag-peek. Naubusan ng bullets as Corazon takes him down. That's experience for you. Jai finds Kyler. Finds another. The duo is dead. And how are they gonna recover? Kurao down to 1. Yung breach na will be using the flashpoint against Suzune. But we'll take the kill for now, but not enough damage done. Kurao go down, and MG find the first round of this game.
Pretty crafty para sa kanilang pistol. You start off with a passive approach sa pag-hold doon sa may A site, and the active approach happens around that C-long position. But this was after Corazon tried to at least wreak some havoc, tried to make some noise on A short. But the repositioning from this breach actually took a lot of time para makapag-reposition na ulit tong si Suzune. Ang problema, since buhay pa yung dalawa nilang duelist, nakakuha ng isang pick pa dun sa may C-long, they were able to get all the kills that they needed to secure the first round on the board. Outlaw in hand agad para kay 13N.
Siya na naman yung mag-pick dito, Chris, no? Will be able to find a couple. Gets the 1 kill. Just miss out to safety. That's how you play the Reyna. And in Haven, duels are everything talaga dito, Chris.
Absolutely. Talagang first blood, first contact. Literally, ang taas ng value. Lalo na't nalayo ng mga extremities. Skylar Von with the entry frag. But Suzune actually taking himself the ray of frag here. Dale, again with the Outlaw. Second frag for him. Remember, that was one of the Outlaws that has been brought out dito para sa Meteor Garden. As we find ourselves in 2v3 where both of the Curao players, they're kind of slowly creeping up. But in the end, it is Len and Jabe. They do get the frags. They do get majority of the guns. They keep 2 of the Outlaws. And they also keep most of their money in check.
And I love this peak from 13N. This is kind of risky kasi considering that it is round number 2, if you lose your gun, you're gonna 1, lose control of Garage, and 2, lose your Outlaw. It's gonna give unnecessary firepower over to the other side. But 13N, steady and composed as ever, gets even a double kill at the end of that round, no? So proving the worth of that Outlaw peak. And Curao, actually, their eco not looking the best. Nag-force buy pala sila, no? Nung last round.
Yeah, literally, stinger buy yung nahawak agad ni Skylar Von and the rest of the squad. So, gonna be playing without their money's worth at all.
Yeah.
Sheriffs across the board this time around. They're forced to play slow. Curao, not necessarily known with their history, so they decide to play with their own instincts. Pushing tong si Skylar Von. Kasama na agad tong si Corazon. Remember the duo. I don't even know how long they've been playing, but this is the sort of default that you expect from a ranked duo. Len expected a lot of damage and eventually gets taken out by Corazon.
Yeah, that's rough. 13N. That aggression finally read and finally dealt with by Curao. Just 1 recon bolt, all it takes. And hindi na nakalabas ng garage dito ng buhay si 13N.
But if Dale's in a really bad position, though, if he keeps this position, he's going to get sandwiched by both the players on garage. And if Tatay Les also, Pretty interesting name, by the way. Peeks up over to C Long. Then this guy has to cover 2 angles, has to run away, but then he's a Neon. So he has the repositioning, has the movement. But does he have the tactics and the wit to know that he's being sandwiched?
You gotta remember too, this is an outlaw against players without any armor. He finds the first title. Let's go down. That's stun coming through. Skylar Bond pushes on as Dale gets taken down by Corazon. Up above from C Long, but Suzune hands it to Phantom. Finds one and another. Crucial position from Suzune. Finds him a couple kills to set up Junjo for success. MG Meteor Garden 3-0 on the board.
They literally steal it back after a really nice reset. The thing about being on the defense is that when you have the guns, you kind of have this instinct of pushing a little bit too aggressively.
Yes.
This was one of the reasons why Dale was out of position. You see that Suzune also had the Phantom, and he actually had a really good position. TP's down over to the other side of that seat position. Gets a triple. And that's when Speed, he was the only guy. They had good picks across the board anyways for the side of Kurao. But MG with their better guns still wins out in the end.
Yeah, Junjo just perfect timing on that lurk too on the rotation. Skylar Vaughn this time leading the charge. Para sa Kurao, no, we're taking control of A Long.
Oh, he's alone.
Yeah.
He's alone. He doesn't have anybody with him. He could call for the flash since the breach actually joins up with him. But he also has to deal with those tripwires.
Ooh, it's gonna be rough. Skylar Vaughn pushing up, and Junjo gets caught in the crossfire. Jabe goes down as well. Ace site wide open here, Chris. They should get the plant. Finally, a favorable position for Kurao in the post plant.
Bit of a gap in the smoke too, so that's
Yeah.
a bit of a window. A bit of a gap for Suzune to actually take control of his position. Skylar Vaughn a little too wide in towards that backside position. So we got a 5 versus 3 on our hands. Meteor Garden are about to get riddled out in the fight. The peek on. Len almost landing the double headshot, but gets taken out in the end by Skylar Vaughn. A bit of a miscommunication in the hands of MG right here. You see the default positions being in check for them. The anchor is already set up, but Kurao, all they needed was pace, and Skylar Vaughn never even thought about the Cypher utility.
Yeah.
And he just didn't care.
Yeah, he broke one trapwire, ran into the site, taking control or taking advantage of the paranoia from Tatay Les there, and worked out, took out the Cypher, and it's just a landslide from there, right?
Hindi talaga ako maka-get over sa pangalan niya. Pre, kasi nakaka-relate ako eh.
Yo.
God. It's just so good, man. Skylar Vaughn.
Anyway.
He's always on these entries. And the thing about his entries, around A-Long at least, is that he makes a lot of noise while doing that. That's why they're still so comfortable on sitting on both of these positions. The bad thing about it, though, is that they're too passive on trying to approach on Skylar Vaughn, try to push in.
Yeah, you can see it on the scoreline too. It's somewhat of a 50-50 if they can make this happen, right? Make a lot of noise in that long position, and then put their players in a very aggressive spot right behind Skylar Vaughn. But what this makes for MG is they can rotate immediately, and they're going to run into all the members of Kurao trying to execute down the site. Paranoia finally comes out. Here comes the breach ulti too. Skylar Vaughn finally pushes on. Tatay Les nahanap na naman si Junjo as Junjo gets taken down by Skylar Vaughn on the entry. A site again secured by Kurao.
Lower guns plus a very good execute, all supported by the ulti as well. So a really good job of executing the site, but Dale has to make this work. Skylar Vaughn, ulti in hand, does actually work in favor of him until the flag doesn't work out. Speed actually takes another, and it's all falling down to Dale. It's the ulti, the 4K for the Neon! 5 HP and a dream! Who gets the 4th round for Meteor Garden?
What is that movement from Dale? Gets the double slide in just to shut down one of these players from Kurao, and then swung up against the 4th player with 5 HP left. He got 5 HP halfway down through the round. Those final 2 kills, he was literally one stray bullet away from getting taken down, but the movement, absolutely impeccable from Dale here. So, results to a round again for Meteor Garden, 4-1 with Dale absolutely wreaking havoc. 8-2. Sa scoreline natin.
Thing about the overdrive as well is that every time that you get one kill, it just refreshes your dash, refreshes your ulti count, as well as you keeping all of those ultis and those dashes kind of make you a moving target every single time. So it makes it all the more difficult to actually take control of the site itself. You see the same default positions for Skylar Vaughn pushing up that A-Long control. But now the Cypher Trap is not going to be there to actually hinder his position. Speed actually will predict Dale. That was the pistol round strat that he was running, pushing on towards C-Long, but gets taken out this time around.
Yeah, loving the read here from Kurao. This time 13N not doing the same thing his teammate has. Oh no, Speed with the patience gets a couple of kills, and now they're gonna pivot towards C-side here, Chris.
Ah, look at the adjustment. Just beautiful timing again for Corral. They exploited the differences. Len actually is in a beautiful spot as well. So Dismiss back in towards the garage position. There's still work to be done so far. 3 versus 4. Plant coming down. Corral in a good position, but Len in a lot of trouble. Actually, will get traded out immediately. 3v2.
Yeah, all you got to do is to get to that post plant and Corral looking unstoppable. Jabe finds one. Ooh, finds another! What a shot onto Corazon! Now it's a 1v1. Will be able to make use of the Aldron as well, but has no information. Speed has to hurry up here, Chris, if he makes his way in time. It's just by the skin of his teeth. Jabe survives, but now he's got to clear garage.
He actually dodged away from the drone itself.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know. Oh, now he hears the tap. He could peek on! And the 1v1 Speed will finally breathe some life into Corral. The 3K for the attack. Another readjustment for Corral. Finally, they're studying their opponents. It took them some time, but they finally break through that second round win.
And the key here is Speed getting a couple of kills, punishing the aggression here of Meteor Garden. That's the key. Wait for their opponents to become too aggressive. And one of those kills, actually, Speed caught with their pants down, right? I think he was playing against the enemy Cypher, who didn't even have the gun up, and punishing it immediately because of his steady position here in C-Long. Steady control gives them that round. They need to learn that discipline is the key here. Skylar not willing to wait. Then it's gonna punish him immediately. Aftershock comes out, try and find the stragglers. Corazon swings out to shut down that Reyna. It's a 4v4, but Corral again? What? Speed somehow kills Suzanne.
Aggressive lurker in the making and keeps going for more. The assassin is making his name. His presence is felt on the Visayas qualifier. A 3K for Speed. A 4v1 for Jabe. An impossible task ahead of him. And he's up against the monster himself, Corazon. The Bulldog will secure the third round. Round per round, Corral are coming back in the game.
MG have to start expecting Speed. At this point, he's just proving too much of a headache to deal with. And they push him again, but Dale this time fails to kill him. And another double kill for Speed on the flank makes it impossible for MG to recover.
Absolutely.
And now it's 3-4. Corral slowly climbing up, and they've broken the eco of Meteor Garden as well.
And the thing about Corral, though, as well, right, is that now they're kind of playing around the pace of Meteor Garden.
Yeah.
Where they started off a little bit too aggressive, and then after they used those two aggressive moves, they played a little passive this time around. They actually find themselves Dale. The duelist always left on C will now get punished the second time in a row. Len, another one, as Skylar Vaughn picks up the second frag for Corral.
Yeah, Meteor Garden becoming a little bit too aggressive for my liking, but hey, it's their eco, so I think this is the round to try their darndest to take these kills from Corral. And in a post-plant 3v5 with barely anything but sheriffs, it's very hard to imagine a world that MG are going to win this.
A high-low setup as well for Skylar Vaughn and Corazon. Corazon, always the long angle fight. I mean, for Meteor Garden at this point, they just have to rely on their guns in the next round. As Skylar Vaughn, he picks up a 4K, a flawless round for Corral. And this is all from studying your opponents. Patience has always been key for this time, as Corral, always from trying to analyze their opponents, they read that since they were passive on that A-side aggression, they lead the duelist every single time. Either it's Len, either it's Dale. Now, every time that they push C, they know 100% that it's somebody without utility.
And as you said, it's always been an interesting approach here for Corral, right? It's Skylar Vaughn leading the charge in one end of the site, making a lot of noise, while Speed looks for stragglers. It's this two-prong approach that sort of gives them an insurance that they're going to find one thing at one end of that spectrum. Dale this time going to go for a peek, not being too aggressive. It's Len this time to shut down Speed. This could be a round that Meteor Garden can play off.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And the good thing about that Reyna is he's not over-peaking anymore. He's pushing, he's leading, letting himself have the passive position over at Garage. So they still have a power point, but they need to think about Skylar Vaughn, who has been doing really well on the entry so far. But I think the biggest thing about this defense on A is that even if they actually take control of that backside, they still have Dale over at the pocket on a short. The Skylar Vaughn trying to isolate the fight. Skylar Vaughn gets found out, has to dash in. Jabe, he's still alive and not kicking anymore. It is the Korean Breach and Tatay Les that get themselves the site itself. thanks to the entrying of the duelist, as they got a very flawless push out, except for the Cypher who died on the other side of the map.
Well, then finally pushing up. The retake can be really hard here. It's A site. No info, no util, and not even a single kill. Kurao picking up the round. Skylar Vaughn, a nice entry there, creating a lot of space. Remember, Skylar Vaughn didn't get any kills there. He just went in, drew attention, and paved the way for the rest of his team to open up that A site.
Yeah, literally the thing about the duelist is that you don't really need the kills. You don't really need the entry.
Space.
All that you need to do is achieve the space. That's the thing about Skylar Vaughn. He definitely did not. He definitely did not forget about the assignment this time around, right?
Yeah.
He knew what he was supposed to be doing in this sort of situation. He didn't need to make noise. He had to be the one to look out for his own teammates' positioning. So 5-4, Corral. They're back into their winning position. C-Long push in hand. Len getting smoked off and has to peek out in towards Garage as a 2-pick for Skylar Vaughn and .ALS. They get the 3-1s for Skylar Vaughn as well through the smoke. He didn't even need to see him.
Yeah. And again, Len becoming aggressive there, pushing up against the smoke. Well, he does find him of a kill, but now they don't have guns. MG down to 2. Skylar Vaughn again with a very clinical entry there, if you even call it that. .ALS gets the win onto Jive on that duel. Now it's all down to Suzune. 1v4. I think he's gonna try to attempt this. Just doesn't have much to lose anyway.
Yeah, literally. I mean, the only thing that I can hope for is that they push onto him, get 3 picks, possibly TP onto the spike itself. But nevertheless, he wants them to come to him. They push on, and Saz will get another, as Kurao will secure the 6th round. They get half of what was supposed to be the whole entire first half anyway, so that's literally the bare minimum needed out of them, which is something that I also expected from this sort of team, because Skylar Vaughn, again, one of the more notable players that we saw on the roster. But I like that he's not like the star player.
Yeah.
I like that they're utilizing him as some sort of like an aggressive duelist where he doesn't need to get all the frags, even though he is, but they're also utilizing the utility players to actually pick up the weight for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you pointed that out. They need him creating space, but they don't need him getting kills. But in this case, he will. Dale goes down. Another eco here for MG. What is happening? On speed. Going to be taking a little bit of chip damage, but oh, I like this rotation from Corral. This conditioning that they've been doing in C-Long, constantly hitting it, has drawn a lot of attention, a lot of eyes from MG. But now, they're left wondering, where is this team gonna go?
Yeah, literally just confusing the Cypher. Literally confusing where the anchor players should be. Because if you remember, Skylar Vaughn, in one of those rounds, has actually hesitated to push on just because he knew that there was a Cypher there.
Yeah.
But they read every single time where the Cypher isn't there. That's where they actually get the entry frag. But Setsune, the judge in hand, might be more than enough to hesitate or make them hesitate to push on, as they do actually use the time to their own physical prowess. They actually go back, get themselves a tri-stack defense on A, while everybody else on Corral will slowly default back up to where they try to divide and conquer, see if they can find a straggler somewhere else on the map.
That's exactly what Corazon has done. Found one. Yo to be dodging around at the Hunter's Fury. Doesn't get the last dodge though, as Corazon takes him down with the ult. We trade there with the shed of kill coming through. .ALS finds Suzune, clears up the site. That's the judge gone. And MG again fighting an uphill battle here, Chris. A 2v3.
Literally after he TPs into the smoke as well as Saz, he adjusts really well onto Jave as well. The mental resiliency from Corral.
I know.
I mean, the mental game overall has been so fun to watch from these guys on Corral right now. Finding where the Cypher is, trying to confuse where the rotation has to be, because they started on C, they went around over to the A side after rotation comes in, which then leaves them a question, a huge question. Where are they actually going? Because in my head, I actually don't know where they're going initially now. They really are dividing and conquering all their forces.
Yeah, and they're playing MG like a fiddle in the macro sense, right? They lost their duelist in that A main spot. MG rotate toward A. But then, Kurao was nowhere to be found. They hit C, open it up quite nicely. Yeah. And again, this time, they look to pivot towards that garage with the help of their Cypher in C-Long. Smokes do come out. Juju gets spotted. Not spammed out yet. And this is the mental game. This is where it comes in. .ALS finds a kill. And MG, they don't know what Kurao is planning. So they're just gonna default back. A double spot in mid. One in A, one in C. And an aggressive push coming through down C-Long. Can be called off for now, but Curao, they have all the options in the world. They could pivot towards A. There's one person there.
Yeah. Literally, their conditioning has led them to this point where MG, I wouldn't say fragile, but it's actually pretty easy to let them know where the action isn't actually coming from. So, Speed initiating that lurk. They also have the ulti come out from the Omen, so an instant spike plant for Tatay Les, as everybody else from Corral have corralled themselves over to defend the spike plant over at the A side. It's Meteor Garden's time to actually retake even without Len.
Oh, Jay finds the first kill. The overdrive activated by Curao. That could be a little bit of a tough task to get through. Find Jay, so Skylar Vaughn again find that space. Suzune trying to find the trade, does only get one as Skylar Vaughn Corazon on the board. Junjo finally comes in, but it's a little bit too late to the party. Curao 8-4 off a slow start. This is incredible, Chris.
Yeah, I just like it when two opposing Neons actually show how well they can actually address every situation. Even in this post plant, Skylar Vaughn decides that he wants to take the aggressive fights to them, where Dale actually becomes a bit of a reaction type of player, and he actually does that really well, right? You can see that in his 4K in one of the previous rounds. Corral also doing a lot of damage when it comes to controlling the map in this Haven map in particular, and that's the thing about this map, right? Being able to control the pace of your opponents can be one heck of a weapon, and that's how Corral has been working out in the attacking rounds. I do want to see how MG respond to this now that they're in the attacking rounds.
Yeah. Can they repeat that same success or even surpass it is the question. Gotta remember, Chris, they have a double duelist. They can definitely turn up the tempo, but not if Skylar Vaughn's got something to say about it. Playing up against the Cypher Cage. Relay bolts. Double headshots. Shuts down Dale just like that. About to slide out, but Len gets dealt with by Corazon. And it seems like MG, their double duelist, is gone. The slide in, the push through. Skylar Vaughn air strafing, looking to find that kill. Paranoia gonna slow him down a little bit. The recon bolt gonna keep him out of this equation, but Corazon goes for the trade, gets another, looking for the fourth, and he gets it. Corazon gets the round for Curao.
The bait and switch for Corazon and Skylar Vaughn. It was not even a crossfire anymore.
Nope.
This was just one heck of a way to try to disrupt their crosshair placement this time. Goes in for the close range angle, gets one kill, and Corazon picks up every single one after a nice paranoia from the other side.
Yeah.
That's just one way to adapt to the situation. Even though you have the close quarter combat, Skylar Vaughn wasn't the star of that situation. You see that Corazon was willing to take the fights anyway because he has a lot of confidence. The aura is just showing out of him in this sort of best of one that we have right now.
Yeah, the movement too, absolutely gorgeous from Corazon there. Dodging bullets left, right, and center. Speaking of movement, Vaughn spots a couple of people. Again, still slides off the back of the dark cover, and the recon. Dark gets the spam on Suzune as well. That's the strike in front of them. I think they heard it because Tatay Les is pushing on.
My God. Corazon and Skylar Vaughn who let them cook, as they definitely have themselves a bit of a meal this time around. A double for Len. Does get access to the Spectre. Not the Bulldog this time around, so you'll have to expect that everybody is going to be whittling down over towards this position. Blinded out of the map, and Tatay Les will get himself another. That's a 10th round for Corral. They start their pretty good defense with double digits this time. And again, I noted this duo, Scarlet Bond and Corazon. I knew that they were going to be a really good duo.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be this explosive.
Confidence is key. That composure that you get with experience, there's no other way to get it. And how many rounds is that in a row? 9 rounds in a row for Corral. Switch of sides doesn't really matter to them, it seems like. But this is where the true test comes. It's a gun round for MG. And if Corral can pick this up, I think they can just steamroll to the end.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because now MG actually have an opportunity to overwhelm the site. This is how Skylar Vaughn has been activating himself, as Dale is the one that gets first blood. Speed will trade it off eventually with that utility. But now he upgrades himself up to the Vandal. This is perfect usage of the smoke as well. He puts himself in a comfortable spot, switches to the other Vandal, just so he doesn't need to reload. 3v4.
Oh, here comes a swing from Tatay Les as well. Sheriff is all he needs as Curao deals with him. But now it's all down to one. Junjo tins out the herd. A 1v1. Soz waiting in the corner. He's got the angle, but not the shot. The clutch for Junjo keeps MG in this game.
Great isolation picks as well for Junjo. He was so caught up in that short side that he needed them to come to him this time. Let's look at the replay. because Dale, he was replicating the same entries that Skylar Vaughn has been putting up for himself. He gets one even though he gets tripped up, but by the end of that, they got the rotation out again for the defense. The problem is though that Junjo was still inside that short position, wasn't cleared off, wasn't used util at all, and then in that 1v1, that was a crucial pick as well for the last guy, but Junjo was able to trade them off immediately.
Yeah, and I think the problem here for MG is that their executes have been somewhat linear compared to Kurao, right? They just went for the A execute early on, which Kurao read beautifully. Dale this time leading the charges, somehow finds a blind kill onto Tatayles. MG put themselves in a favorable spot in positions inside of B. They can't get out of it, but at least it's a 3v3.
They already used the relay bolt, so not much concusses anymore. They're the ones who don't have the breach as well, so they have to fight with their guns now. Skylar Vaughn entries on. Second flag after the dash. 1v2, and Jabe joins everybody else on Meteor Garden. They crash against Kurao, and their defense, the retake has been so well sharp. Thanks to Skylar Vaughn and his entries, the util timings as well from Corazon, this duo is making impact all across this B side.
And guess who was left in that in the final moments of that round? Both those players, Corazon, Skylar Vaughn, providing so much impact here for the team. The retake again, Skylar Vaughn 1 HP. Who does this? Slides into the site with 25 HP left? Not me.
No, definitely not us. I mean, 21 kills for Skylar Vaughn, an overdrive active. That just means he has a lot of money into the next coming round, even though you can't say the same for both Monspeed and Suz. It's okay, because then, even if they lose, they have more money into the next round. Skylar Vaughn, he still tries to dodge away from the bullets. This guy's playing Matrix right now. A second for Suz. But again, Dale, he wants to activate his own overdrive and actually puts his name on the kill feed. 2 kills for him. They rotate that again. See if they can catch somebody holding down the site itself. Monspeed almost, but labored. Gets another kill over to Dale.
Yeah, Dale going down. Monspeed look to end things right now, but it's Tatayles who does. 12-5. And Kurao are just 1 win away from getting into the grand finals here, Chris.
Look, I'm literally looking at one thing, and it's the spacing that's being taken again for Dale. He's not a bad Neon, but every time that he tries to entry, he's just too damn far away from his teammates.
Yeah, that's the problem here so far. I mean, granted to him, he did kind of pop up. Getting a 3K in that round, no easy feat, especially up against this squad of Kurao, but spacing, as you mentioned, there just isn't enough backup so that when he goes down, there will be a trade.
Yeah.
And such the case there wasn't anyone to get him a kill after he went down. Kurao, match point now, and I'm not even sure what the state of MG's eco is.
No, me neither, man. I mean, if I remember correctly, they're down to like a couple of guns. We're already activating again that use cage out for the Cypher. Len has to be careful. And the thing about that, though, is that they're already inside the garage position. Another kill out for Jabe. MG, they're handling this well. The split up is actually working in favor of them. They tried to fish out the Cypher, and they also get themselves Corazon. 3v1 as Skylar Vaughn, the star of the show, dashes in. It's the overdrive, isolating the picks. The relay bolt doing a lot of damage. A triple and a clutch for Skylar Vaughn. Corral have ran in towards the site and have well then put themselves to the finals.
What was that? Skylar Vaughn ends the game in a 1v3. Talk about a statement play here. Skylar Vaughn has come to play. He's come to win. He wins the game for Kurao.
I swear.
And they advance to the grand finals.
I swear this guy always has overdrive activated. This guy will always have a dash and will always find a way to get himself into the team. It was a 1v3. How would you deal with a Neon when he's always dashing in, dashing in, dashing in?
And he was concussed, mind you.
Yeah.
Winning the duel after the fact is absolutely phenomenal here. Kurao, man, it was a slow start. They didn't win the first pistol. Second round, not going their way either. But then they just didn't stop after that. And I think really the biggest difference maker here is that attacking side. Kurao was way more creative in their approaches.
Absolutely, right? I mean, every time that they would try to actually get an execute happen, it's not off of a fast rush. Mind you, it was fast space taking by Skylar Vaughn. Although, really, the biggest play for them is that they're able to try to navigate around the site a little bit too closely. Like, they actually find where the Cypher is in every single engagement. And their objective is to try to find where the duelist is. Because that's the one duelist the Reyna in particular, when they were starting on the attacking side, that has the least amount of utility. The Neon could actually find a way to actually defend itself, pero compared to Neon, the Reyna can actually handle it well unless he gets a couple of kills.
Yeah, it's not even close, the amount of utility that they put up compared to each other. But again, I want to point this out now. The only reason that MG found that early success is because of their aggression.
Yeah.
And the thing about a team like Corao is a team that is very macro-oriented. They take notice of these tendencies and they play around that. That's exactly what happened here. After they noticed the amount of aggression that MG like to put up to the table, they just went for the two-prong approach we were talking about earlier, with Skyerbond pushing in and then Monspeed up against the flank. Monspeed dealing with those aggressive pushers, and Skyerbond consistently making space with Corazon, which is, like this case, is what pushes them beyond here and win these rounds. I mean, it's just beautiful to witness here.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about, right? Haven being a map that is sort of like a filter, the difference maker between teams that have really good shot calling and those that not necessarily, and could have definitely the earlier.
Yeah, literally, right? I mean, this was a test of skill. A skill check, perhaps, for any team that actually comes into the Predator League, where if you actually force them into maps where they need to heavy on into the default position, then sometimes it all comes down to wits. It's not about the aim at this point in time, because let's face it, Dale was actually pretty underrated, especially to the other members on the side of Meteor Garden, because they actually held well, especially on the early rounds.
Yeah.
But when it came to the longer stages of the game, where now you actually find out what their tendencies are, now you find out where they usually like to set up on the side, then that's when you actually try your best to actually try to put your brain in. That's when the IGL steps up for the squad. But nevertheless, these are the map stats for our Haven map. You can see the Scholar Bomb was the MVP for that one. No surprise whatsoever.
Yep.
But I'd like to put a lot of emphasis on the two utility players on the bottom of the scoreboard. Monspeed and Tatayles, they held their own. In a lot of situations where the utility was a factor, their aim was not a second factor to them as well.
And Monspeed was kind of like an anchor, like dragging the back of the pack here for them. It was sort of protecting their behind, figuratively speaking here, for Corao. That whenever they needed him to, he was there, sort of providing anchorage, especially against players like Glenn. And I want to give highlight to Len as well, right? Must have... we can't see the numbers here in detail, but he must have a lot of those first bloods for that team, right? The first couple of rounds where MG found that success, it was Len doing the early bidding there. And you can see here, he's the MVP because he found the most impact frags. And props to MG. I mean, when it comes to micro and aim, they're definitely at similar levels, but when it comes to shot calling and the strats, Corao has just got it on another level.
Well, we said they were feast or famine. Unfortunately, they got feasted on. So this was a really good game coming out from Rakao as well, because they have forced themselves into the finals right now as we're heading on into that second game. But before that, I think it's a really good time to actually remind our viewers out there about the giveaway that we have right here, right now. Predict and win, ladies and gentlemen. All you have to do is like and follow Predator Gaming, share the stream using the hashtag PLPH2025, and comment which team will win the Visayas qualifier. If you do all of this, then you are able to get a chance to win exclusive Predator merchandise.
Yes, absolutely. Guys, make sure na naka-public yung post nyo and comment down below kung sino man yung team niroon nyo. But that concludes game number 1 of our games today. When we come back, it's going to be the second semi-final matchup. We're still your caster for today. Datum here with Ramon. This is Predator League PH 2025. We'll be right back after this.
The X38 is the latest high-octane curved display from Predator. This zero-frame behemoth has a 37.5-inch span and a 2300R curve in glorious 21:9, so that you can fill your peripheral vision with pure gameplay for all-out immersion. And with a very ergonomical stand, positioning this colossal display is quite easy, allowing you to tilt, pivot, swivel, and adjust the height as needed, so that comfort is maintained even through long gaming sessions. Naturally, you have all the latest ports needed, as well as two powerful 7-watt speakers should a headset not suffice. Though the X38 is ideal for hardcore enthusiasts and esports pros alike, what sets it apart, besides a crisp, ultra-wide QHD Plus resolution, is the Agile Splendor IPS panel it uses. This panel makes it possible to push the response time up to 0.3 milliseconds while maintaining a color gamut of DCI-P3 98% and Delta E less than 2, so that colors and details remain vivid. Add on the 175Hz refresh rate and you have a blisteringly fast monitor that keeps all the fast-paced action coming through nice and smooth with almost no ghosting, color bending, or torn frames. To make sure those frames look as pristine as possible, NVIDIA G-Sync keeps frame rate locked to the output of your GPU, while Display HDR 400 certification allows you to enjoy HDR content in or outside of gaming. So if you're looking to go all out, it's time to introduce the monumental X38 to your game setup.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the Visayas qualifiers. We have one player or one team in the finals right now. And we are now down to 2 more in the next semifinals. My name is Ramon. With me is Datum. This is going to be the next BO1 for you guys today. Again, I told you, we have a lot of Valorant being played for today's matchups. And again, we have a bit of a treat on our hands. A VCT experienced team versus one of the new kids on the block. Who will come out on top, Datum? I feel like sometimes that upset potential is just right there in the bit of the corner of my mind.
Exactly. We were talking about this off screen as well, right? I mean, when it comes to these players that have a ton of experience already, I'm talking about Velocity Gaming here. You got people like Georgie in their roster, right? Just that name rings a lot of bells. And that's just one of the 5 players here that is absolutely experienced, absolutely stacked here for Velocity Gaming. And when you got this David versus Goliath narrative, it writes itself. Sometimes that's what happens. David prevails. That's what written literally on some book. But Team Prano Puli, I mean, this is a team that's got a lot to prove if they want to take down Velocity Gaming. Let's take a look at the battlefield at which they're playing at here to set the stage for this best of 1.
I feel like it's going to be one heck of a matchup, as it will be the map of Haven yet again. I feel like one of the maps that a lot of Filipino teams like to play on, the default positions, and if they replicate the same success where, again, making it known where if you find out where the Cypher is, then that's going to be one heck of a weapon to actually abuse, right? But I like that we're getting a rise in popularity in the Neon pick rather than the Jet pick, because yes, we see less opping out from the Jet because there's no Jet at all. The Neon actually entries onto the site, but it's actually pretty exciting to see how Neons like to adapt in this sort of situations, because he has his own smoke. Plus, Neon also has a lot of movement to actually navigate around the site, not only for the entry, but also when the going gets tough. You kind of need that sort of push to actually get yourself in a bad situation.
Yeah, I'm right up there with you. I think the Neon has been an underrated pick for quite some time. And I'm glad that she's finally getting the limelight here, no, especially in maps where we didn't necessarily see a lot of her before, such as Haven. Yeah. Right? I mean, last couple of weeks, we're seeing a lot of Abysses and a lot of Sunsets as well. And Neon has always been favored in those maps. But in Haven, not necessarily, no? So, yeah, I definitely love seeing more Neons. I hope we see more of them today. Do you think we're going to be seeing any surprise picks here?
Possibly, maybe a Deadlock pick. I don't know. Maybe another controller. Maybe like an Astra. Yeah. I mean, kind of have like a bit of a similarity. But let's take a look at the agent compositions. Double Ini yet again for Temprano Puli. And like we mentioned, the superstar team that is Velocity Gaming, we got Georgie, Yokam, Chuzi, and Tesseract. Mind you, a few of them are internationally experienced team players. Tesseract in particular, there was a time where Tesseract was one of the first players from the Philippines who actually represented the Philippines over at India. Wow. Played a few splits over there, went back to play in the Philippines for Naos Esports, and then actually went back to India just for him to represent again the Philippines. Now back in the roster here in the Philippines right now, who's again on an Indian organization with Filipino players as a whole as well. So kind of interesting to watch. How will they actually gel as a team? Because in my eyes, this is one of the appearances that I've seen Velocity Gaming actually play. I think I mentioned to you that they were one of the off-stream games last week. I kind of want to see how they perform right now, since now they actually reached the broadcast. Yeah.
Yokam, by the way, guys, if you don't recognize that name, is his new IGN, formerly known as Patrick Watts. Ooh. Another player that's got that VCL experience. So here we go. We're going into Haven. Let's see if, let's see how much fun this game is going to be, right? TP, they got Giants up against them in their roster, and they have to find some way to catch them by surprise.
Alam mo, bigla na lang ako nawalan ng investment sa mga VCT experienced players natin dahil kalaban nila si Binimika. And literally, my bias is playing in this game right here, right now. Yokam won't be the one to actually take the space. And it's not going to be in the form of a crossfire. He's actually on a solo mission. Ooh. Should make a lot of presence on the map.
Yeah. Actually made a bit of noise as well with the gunshots, no? So I think TP should be expecting this. And I like this already, no? A bit of a slow approach contrary to last game. And that gives you that slow potential to clear every single corner. Patrick Watson already going down. Yokam, the early push coming on through. Georgie gets punished by Winsome. And it's gonna be even deadlier as UX pushes on. Provoker takes him down. VLT down to 1. And it's Tesseract on a 1v5 here, Chris. Is this possible?
I mean, definitely not the worst thing in the world.
I think it's impossible.
Tesseract in a bit of trouble, gets smoked up as well as Raziel. Actually will get himself the final exclamation mark in that round. A statement win for TP, as they were the ones who actually called the shots in that game. Literally, VLT were attempting to actually get themselves the winning momentum here, getting the first space taken by Yokam, pushed on towards that A short position. The problem is, gets taken out immediately, and to respond to that, they got both Georgie and Yux to respond by peeking on towards mid, where they never expected that. They didn't actually commit to their initial angle of pushing onto the A side.
And you could see just how well that was read by TP here. Razel again, pushing up. Cloudburst, dash in. Georgie peeking out off the back of that breach stun. Gets a couple until Razel takes him down. But that's good damage being done here by Georgie. Cheeky angle playing off of that breach stun from Chusi. Provoker coming in from the lurk. Let's see how this goes. Ooh, the bucky play from Yokam finds Winsome. And suddenly they take control of the site. Raziel not done yet, but gets taken down by Chusi. Provoker in a 1v1. Chusi with the clutch win 1v1. That's the round. And VLT put themselves on the board.
2 kills from Georgie just because of a position that needed to be checked by TP. One of the fundamentals that has to be approached when you're coming up into a site. You have the buy round. You also have a lot of time to actually clear your corners. After they took out Yux, they never even bothered to check that corner. That's where Georgie actually got themselves too, right? And after that, they've just surprised them with run and gun. Again, Yokam doing a lot of work with that Bucky as well. And surprisingly, Chusi was calm enough to actually get himself off of the spike defuse just to take off the last player. That's really big balls from a guy who was on really low HP.
Yeah. And VLT get rewarded for it. VLT 1-1 on the score. Big weaponry advantage. UX cheeky angle up above the box in garage. And a triple stack or double stack in B site as Georgie looks to find another angle up the platform of C. And somehow he gets taken down by Tito Nyoshan.
Always actually initiating those fights, initiating the peaks as well. I wanted to see what kind of gun that he had just so he could justify him pushing on towards that garage position. But
He's a Vandal. He's a Vandal.
He's the one who actually gets taken out immediately. So an early 4 versus 5. Already in a position for Yux and the knock angle. Oh, check at Chusi. Actually just realized that he's the one pushing on over towards that B position. Yux actually getting another A triple by Yux. At one point, this guy was the duelist main from one of the players. But now it's a 2 versus 2 as TP, they try to reset back onto the garage position. Yokam, another one as he dashes in, possibly for more, and gets another one. As Velocity Gaming, they pump out the brakes and they get themselves a second round.
Yeah, VLT, I was about to criticize them for being too aggressive. Such is the case here, but UX obviously made it happen this time. But 3K immediately turned things around for Velocity. And it makes you wonder why a team like this would push in a round where they shouldn't. Well, because they can.
Because they can. Literally in their name, Velocity Gaming. Mind you, it means they want to play fast.
Yep.
And fast sometimes on the defense is not the optimal choice, but if it's the one that works, then, you know,
it works, it works.
It works, it works.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. This time, Tesseract in a long. Yokam right beside him. And again, this aggressive play, TP should have read this by now, but I mean, look at how conservative their positions are. They're expecting this push to come through, and they're using a lot of utility defensively. They're on the attack here, Chris.
Literally, just from one guy throwing a few bullets, and the exchange to that was a bunch of util. Just something that he could use to actually clear off one corner, one angle. So that's something that Velocity Gaming are trying to approach here, trying to deplete a lot of the resources before they go through the big fight. B side now being the focus for Raziel, Chuzi, and Yokam, the duo. They actually divide and conquer. They get 3 picks in the round, another for Yokam as well. And this guy is activated on the site itself. 1v3 for Beanie Mika, has to dodge away, but Chuzi actually locks out that third round with a triple kill in the mix. That is Velocity Gaming securing another one.
Yeah. 2-round lead now. Velocity looking to run away with it. And I dare say they're creating a lot of space while making some mistakes.
Yeah.
But still, they're winning the round, which is the important thing here, Chris. I mean, this is still Velocity Gaming we're talking about here. They could win these duels. As is evident by this one, Mika unable to get the shots in. And they don't have to be this aggressive, right? This game could be cleaner for Velocity, but they just want to peek. I mean,
Absolutely.
there's no explanation as to why they're playing so aggressive. They just want to.
Yokam, you expect him to peek every single time.
Yep.
And at this time, it was supported by the Silver Dart. Again, locking away TP from getting a very important map control. There was a bit of hesitancy again from the Jet, as you could see that he was also trying to rotate on around that A side extremity, as Tesseract will get a second frag, wins taking that eventually.
Yeah. Down to the last 3 players. TP running around, finding anywhere they could go
blind.
to, but Yokam is closing in, getting a 3K now. And Tito Noshan gets struck from behind by Tesseract. A flawless round, Velocity, 4 on the board.
Absolutely right. I mean, pushing the buttons on the attackers before they could even have map control. Raziel, he was the one who initiated the push onto the smoke, and I believe that was the right call for them. Because how are they going to get any sort of map control, right? How are they going to be able to try to lock away the space being taken by Yokam? Because every single time that he takes A, they will always get some value, right? Even one piece of util from Georgie, or one piece of util from Chuzi, or Tesseract. It will be enough to actually get a conversion from Yokam himself, right? I mean, TP looking a little passive on this approach right now. You can see the trade actually happening on the other side of the map. Raziel finally deal with Yokam, the problem for Velocity Gaming. They deny the overdrive,
Yux.
but in the end, Yux has actually covered a lot of ground. Another out from him, but Raziel gets his second.
Yeah, but that's information. That's a spike right in front of them. They know where the spike is, so they can start converging on them. That's exactly what Chuzi is about to do, choking out some of these positions. He's about to spot out Mika. He spots out Raziel instead, and Mika, a double swing, dismantled by a lone breach, and suddenly it's all alone now. It's not Tito Noshan who spots out Tesseract. Not even able to win the fight, Chris. The walls are closing in, and the walls, it's just a synonym for Velocity Gaming.
Absolutely, man. I mean, what are you going to do when the defense, they're the ones who are initiating the fights. They're the ones who are taking the picks. In a lot of the situations, they're looking for picks in a way that they're trying to think that they're actually the ones trying to make the space, right? They're the ones actually taking the fights to them because they're taking a bit too long to decide on what they want to do. Are we going to smoke off this A-short extremity because you want to push on? Or do you actually want somebody to hold your garage? There's a lot of questions on my mind for TP right now that VLT are forcibly answering for me.
And VLT, they don't necessarily need to change anything because it's working. And TP, suffice to say, they've been trying to anticipate these pushes, but every single time they get destroyed by Velocity. Setup coming on through, and TP about to push up in C site. Raziel finally able to make space into that C-long area. They get the read right, but Georgie's still in their way.
Oh, Georgie's still alive. Chuzi and Tesseract finally respond. Mika, he dodged away from the ulti, but Chuzi is still here. Tesseract also clears the site. A 1v5, and Provoker, he's all the way over to C-long. What else can he do? Already inside our Velocity Gaming, and they have flawlessly taken this round. No casualties, only one Rolling Thunder from the breach. It's all looking so flawless coming out from this defensive side from them.
Yeah. It's 6 rounds in a row here, Chris. Nothing is stopping them. Not even their eco earlier in round number 2. And speaking of which, well, TP, they don't got much. Just some sheriffs. They do have some ult. Sure, Mika is 1 orb away from getting the Rolling Thunder, but it doesn't seem to get any better anytime soon. Yux could be pushing out with the paranoia. Yokam make the most out of it. Yux gets a spam onto Tito Noshan, and it's all 4 players of TP back in their spawn, just waiting to anticipate any push through, with Georgie taking control of Garage here, Chris.
Yeah, and they're trying to fight up against the Boracay Cypher. That's his moniker right now because he's not actually using the jet anymore. He's pushing in the grass position, taking control, wins him. Actually expects him to push. Yokam still wins out the gunfight in the end. Tesseract also follows through with another as they're falling apart, crumbling to pieces. TP are getting whittled down one by one. It's Yokam with a 3K. And Velocity Gaming, well, this is one of the first times that I've seen this organization, and it's looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. Proving their experience is worth something here, Chris, and it's looking darn good for them. Take a look at the positions at of their players at the end of that round. They were all on the attacker side spawn, and it's been a few rounds that Yokam has been holding on to that overdrive because he hasn't felt the need to use that yet.
Yep. It's still a very important buy. They got the buy round of 4 ultis. Yokam pushing in yet again, but it's on the other side of the map now. All eyes focused on B as Raziel entries on into the site. Hasn't cleared on Tesseract, who gets himself a double. 8-3K from Tesseract. Welcome back to the Philippines. And another out for Yokam as well. This is proving to be the battleground for Velocity Gaming, as they're holding W left, right, and center. Provoker, though, he's the only man alive, but not for long. Tesseract with a 4K. Velocity Gaming putting their name on the map.
8-1. 8-1, Chris. The only time they lost a round is in the very first one. But ever since then, each and every one of their players has had a spotlight moment. Earlier it was Yokam. This time, it's Tesseract. A 4K for the Soba. An impeccable solo hold in that B site, fending off 3 players and getting a triple.
Without breaking a sweat.
Oh.
The solo anchor shining through. And again, Yokam is back to his aggressive ways, his devious approach. The push on, he tries and gets himself another win some. Oh, his movement actually betrays him, makes him an easier target. Paranoia out as well. Yokam waits it out, denies it, blinded yet again. Yuk's also following suit. The garage push hits out of control. Velocity Gaming are forcing the fight to you as TP. BD Mika could not get any immunity with another out for Choosy as well. 9-1. Another push shot for Velocity, and it goes off without a hitch.
It's just a massacre here, Chris. I mean, what can they do? They can't win the duels. They can't use their util. Even defensively, they can even buy time. Because look, there's 1 minute, 13 seconds left, and the round is already over. Their spawn is already swarmed by the players of VLT. And it's all a matter of approach. I think DP should just get the jump on them and rush into the site.
They have 5 ultis that they can work through.
Okay,
on
maybe
this side of the map. Maybe, just maybe, they could get all their guns in one
just rush
pocket.
in.
2 players pushing out from VLT yet again. Make it 3 with Yokam leading the charge.
They need to push in. They need to avoid this lurk by pushing the site. But they're taking a bit of time again. And Yokam strikes Yuke's right beside him. And it's all falling apart again here, Chris. Tito Nishan gonna try at least. But that's all he'll do as Tesseract takes him down. Takes VLT to 10. And TP back in shambles. Do they even have guns for this round? I don't think so.
Don't think so. VLT.
Enemy remaining.
Is this a hype roster that I can get behind for this 2025 season? I could definitely...
Pwede na.
Pwede na. Sige. Kasi nandyan yung mga paborito kong players eh. Si Patrick Watson, si Georgie, nandyan nga din naman. Who again, might I add you, is the Tarek of the Philippines. Talaga namang napaka-chill nga kung nandyan si Georgie, but Raziel doesn't want to put the strike on down. A second yet again. That's the Blade Storm activated for him as he's the one entering on into the site.
No
Georgie
way.
and Tesseract again. The duo that tries to work through in these sorts of situations is making TP crumble down. Another from Georgie and Tesseract as well. It's as fast as blinking as you miss it.
Yeah.
Switching sides.
11-1 on our first half. It is not looking good for TP. And it's all gonna start in this attacking-sided Velocity Gaming. I just don't imagine how this is gonna work out for TP here, Chris, but they're gonna have to try their darndest. I mean, we talked about what they can prove in this matchup, but so far they haven't been able to prove anything.
Look, it's I want to see the potential out for this composition itself, right? Because this comp is so strong when it comes to 1 to 5-man executes.
Yeah.
I really want to see them try to at least try that, because in a lot of these situations, they're kind of thinking before they could try to do something, right? And sometimes overthinking it is kind
Exactly.
of delaying everything.
Exactly, and I think that's part of the problem here for TP. They should just turn their brains off, push into the side, but it's too late for that now. They're on the defense, and Yokam is the one doing exactly that, pushing into the side, and he's gonna walk straight in it without any resistance, and he finds Winsome as well.
Yokam has no resistance whatsoever. The force is strong with this one, but again, the pistols are doing a lot of work for them until Yokam actually blows them back into reality. 3v3, spike plant down, and it's not even open, so that's one thing that they're looking out for. But Tesseract has already caused a lot of trouble. A third for Yokam, as Titan Dashan is down to 13. He has spotted out Choosy, and is playing around the smokes as well. But look at Yokam, he's willing, he wants to fight. A 3k for Titan Dashan. Paranoia is perfect, but Tesseract did not even need to see him. Gets the match point for Velocity Gaming. Only one round to reach the final.
It's an absolute bloodbath there, Velocity. They're proving a point here, Chris. It could be the next team to watch here. It's 12-1, and they don't show any signs of slowing down. This is the closest round that TP has been able to scrounge up ever since that first round. Came down to the last man, but look at how composed the players of Velocity are. Tesseract, blind, still gets the kill.
Sometimes you don't care about blinds at all. You just try to shoot as Yokam. Well, that's all he does. He gets a kill over to Titan Dashan. Killed out by the aftershock, but it's not enough to actually deter him. It doesn't even give him a lot of damage. Any sort of damage whatsoever. 5 versus 4 as he plant the spike onto the B site.
Yokam wreaking havoc inside of A-Link. This time Razael, just a stinger in hand, gets dismissed off quite easily. The overdrive active. Yokam looking for the 4K, and Georgie gets the final kill. Velocity with a statement win in the semifinals. A 13-1, and I think this team's pretty good.
I think medyo okay naman sila. I think by our standards, I think this team is pretty decent in our, if I do say so myself, right? Well done. Especially when it came to their defensive rounds. I mean, they're not even a defensive team. Literally, all they do is rush out onto the site, find picks, push them, and actually get profit off of that. Literally, what the game plan has been so far for Velocity Gaming.
Yeah, it's really hard to break this game down because it was just a difference in fundamentals here, right? You can see just not just the macro player even. I mean, I don't think there even was a lot of calls here for Velocity. They just straight up push. I mean, if you take a look at the maps at every round in that defense, they were pushing from all angles. And I think there's nothing to break down from that apart from the fact that VLT, they just sent it.
Yeah, literally. So you know what? By these highlights, I just want to ask you, like, if do you vibe with this trio of Tesseract, Choosy, and Yokam? Because in my eyes, Yokam, he's just not afraid to take any fight, man. I mean, if you put a lot of util to this guy, I think he wins 9 out of 10 times of the fights that he takes.
And I think that's reflective of his score, which we will get to see later on, a deeper look at the numbers. But VLT, man, I mean, it makes you wonder how they were able to bag this slot already in the Mindanao qualifier. No, so it really is a question mark for me how far along this team is, because obviously they're not the best team in the country because they're going to qualify immediately. But this is a statement win from them. Maybe someone else was playing. I'm not sure. We didn't see the game. Maybe they were still getting up the gripes of this Predator League.
Maybe nakakahiyaan pa sila. Diba?
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe nasa talking stage pa sila dun. You know, I mean, sometimes in talking stages, you gotta warm it up a little bit, you know?
Maybe.
You gotta ask about their interests, their differences. Malay mo, diba? After some time, magbablossom kayo into what Velocity Gaming is right now. Sometimes that comfortability is after just one week of actually practicing together. And after that 1 week, we actually see what type of players are actually looking out for. 23 kills on Yokam. Well, everybody else is just trying to reach up to him.
Look at ACS. 438. It's like 4 times that of Georgie. And as you said, Georgie is no slouch, right?
No.
He's one of the most decorated players in the country, right? He's one of the most well-known as well. And Yokam just setting an absolute benchmark here for Velocity Gaming. A 13-1, an explosive start to their qualifier here. And I can't wait to see more of them in the grand finals.
Yeah, hopefully. Yep, we definitely will see them. A lot more of them, especially since this is going to be the section of the video where it will be the BO3s, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be Velocity Gaming against one of the semifinals winners as well. But before all of that, I'd like to remind everybody that we have a giveaway over at the stream right now. But before that giveaway as well, we have a sponsor that we also like to share with you guys today. With access to 100 plus AAA games, magkakaroon kayo ng sign para makapag-subscribe sa PC Game Pass as well. Get your first 3 months with every purchase of a Predator laptop. Just check out any Acer Predator laptop right here, right now.
Yeah, that's on Predator, guys. It's absolutely free of charge. All you have to do is buy an Acer Predator laptop and you get a 3-month subscription to PC Game Pass. If you don't know what that is, it's a subscription service for games with hundreds and hundreds of AAA titles. It's
At pag
great.
makalimutan, pwede ka rin kumuha ng lahat, kahit anong Valorant agents na meron sa'yo kasi na-affiliated din sila sa Valorant.
Yeah, absolutely. You get all agents, and if you play a certain indie game called League of Legends, libre din lahat ng champions done. You get the PC Game Pass absolutely free of charge for 3 months if you get a Predator laptop right now. And that concludes our semifinals, Chris. Just like that, we have our grand finalists. When we come back, it's going to be the best of 3 to determine who advances to stage 4. My name's Zadam here with Ramon. This is Predator League PH 2025. We'll be right back.
The X38 is the latest high-octane curved display from Predator. This zero-frame behemoth has a 37.5-inch span and a 2300R curve in glorious 21:9, so that you can feel your peripheral vision with pure gameplay for all-out immersion. And with a very ergonomical stand, positioning this colossal display is quite easy, allowing you to tilt, pivot, swivel, and adjust the height as needed, so that comfort is maintained even through long gaming sessions. Naturally, you have all the latest ports needed, as well as 2 powerful 7-watt speakers should a headset not suffice. Though the X38 is ideal for hardcore enthusiasts and esports pros alike, what sets it apart, besides a crisp, ultra-wide QHD Plus resolution, is the Agile Splendor IPS panel it uses. This panel makes it possible to push the response time up to 0.3 milliseconds while maintaining a color gamut of DCI-P3 98% and Delta E less than 2, so that colors and details remain vivid. Add on the 175Hz refresh rate and you have a blisteringly fast monitor that keeps all the fast-paced action coming through nice and smooth with almost no ghosting, color bending, or torn frames. To make sure those frames look as pristine as possible, NVIDIA G-Sync keeps frame rate locked to the output of your GPU, while Display HDR 400 certification allows you to enjoy HDR content in or outside of gaming. So if you're looking to go all out, it's time to introduce the monumental X38 to your game setup. The X38 is the latest high-octane curved display from Predator. This zero-frame behemoth has a 37.5-inch span and a 2300R curve in glorious 21:9, so that you can fill your peripheral vision with pure gameplay for all-out immersion. And with a very ergonomical stand, positioning this colossal display is quite easy, allowing you to tilt, pivot, swivel, and adjust the height as needed, so that comfort is maintained even through long gaming sessions. Naturally, you have all the latest ports needed, as well as two powerful 7-watt speakers should a headset not suffice. Though the X38 is ideal for hardcore enthusiasts and esports pros alike, what sets it apart, besides a crisp, ultra-wide QHD Plus resolution, is the Agile Splendor IPS panel it uses. This panel makes it possible to push the response time up to 0.3 milliseconds while maintaining a color gamut of DCI-P3 98% and Delta E less than 2, so that colors and details remain vivid. Add on the 175Hz refresh rate and you have a blisteringly fast monitor that keeps all the fast-paced action coming through nice and smooth with almost no ghosting, color bending, or torn frames. To make sure those frames look as pristine as possible, NVIDIA G-Sync keeps frame rate locked to the output of your GPU, while Display HDR 400 certification allows you to enjoy HDR content in or outside of gaming. So if you're looking to go all out, it's time to introduce the monumental X38 to your game setup.
final land qualifier as we're right here for the Visayas region. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. The final para sa dalawang teams natin who will be conquering each other para makuha ang spot over to stage 4. We're about to find out. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Predator League Philippine Qualifiers. So, kapala si Ramon, kasama ko si Datum. And now it is time. Corral versus Velocity Gaming. It is one heck of a matchup. We saw one Juggernaut up against another one right here, right now.
Yeah, Curao, I mean, they did prove what kind of a team they could muster up around their star player, their Skylar Vaughn, right? And it's definitely a force to be reckoned with, right? And it makes me wonder just how we're going to fend off Velocity Gaming here, a team that we all know. I mean, a team that let's face it, it's a top tier team here in the country, right? Albeit still kind of in a honeymoon phase-ish where you don't really know where they're placed, and this is a good starting ground for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay to have a few reps under your belt. I mean, this is the thing about Velocity is like they're a fairly new team. They recently got announced, like literally yung roster nila a month ago, and that's where everybody had a speculation. Where's Georgie gonna go? Where's Yokam gonna go after a very solid performance, lalo na nung split 2 of VCT? Now, he plays under an Indian organization, now facing up under a very big opportunity, a chance para makapasok agad sa stage 4 for a chance to qualify over towards Asia Pacific Predator League as we're heading on into the BO3, and Ascent being that first map makes a lot of sense. A lot of teams are very comfortable with this map.
Yeah.
Kaya, bit of those adjustments aren't that much needed talaga eh.
Yeah, and it's quite surprising to me, Chris, that it's Curao that picked this map, right? Typically, when you're going up against a giant team like Velocity Gaming, you kind of want to catch them off guard, right? That means picking obscure maps, maybe like Abyss or some other form of map that you're kind of betting that they don't have experience in. Ascent is a map that I'm pretty sure the Velocity Gaming roster have a ton of experience on. And might not necessarily be as a team, but as individual players, you know that these teams have played a lot of hours in that map in particular. So this is a very bold move coming through from Curao.
Lalo na't mga VCT experienced players din ang mga kalaban nila dito, right? They know how to play the Ascent game, so it's kind of like muscle memory for them at this point. So yung margin of error is not as huge compared to Curao. So a lot of pressure has to be on them right now. I think the shining grace that we could have for this roster in particular is that they're going to be starting on the attacking side right now. So they're going to be the ones setting the tempo. They're going to be the ones initiating those mid-fights kapag dun nga sila magsisimula. I just want to know what the logic is from them that they're the ones who picked this map. Kasi literally kahit sino eh. Kahit yung mga hindi pro, alam nila kung paano laruin yung asset map. Kaya ang daming na-build na fundamentals na pwedeng ma-exploit kapag hindi ka gaano katagal na team. Siguro yung nga yung logic nila, no? Hindi sila gaano katagal. And maybe that's one of the things that they're looking outwards. Exploit those things that they maybe could not have practiced yet.
Yeah, and I think the biggest factor here for Curao is that they're starting on the attacking side, right? I mean, Velocity, as of today, we haven't seen them start on the attacking side, right? And I think an argument could be made that part of the reason why they kind of struggled to get the gripes in that last game, I mean, remember, they lost the pistol, was because they were on the defense. And I think them becoming that aggressive is an indicator that they need to be aggressive to be successful, right? I mean, that could be a factor here, and Curao could exploit that if they get on the right shoes.
Yung problema din kasi yung kahit yung mga anchor players na may expect mo, yung mga roles na dapat mag-anchor, sila naman yung nagpupush din. Literal na si Yuk at saka si Georgie yung mismong nagpupush din kahit sila dapat yung nag-hold ng site on the defense. So, it kind of makes sense for Curao to actually pick yung mapa na yun. Tapos, hindi ko alam, I believe it was Velocity Gaming that decided to play on the defense. They're probably like playing this proactive defense style. I'm not gonna be surprised if we see another instance where nagpupush na ulit yung mga anchors natin ulit. For example, siguro, magpupush ulit si Georgie on B main gamit ang Cypher. Possibly, pwedeng makita si Georgie, naka-killjoy din. Tapos magpupush lang din siya, early TP or early turret doon sa may B main. Try to hold on the extremity while you have an aggressive attempt to try to take that mid-control space. Ito yung maraming variety na meron ng Ascent na pwede nating makita. Lalo na't ang daming fundamentals na nabibuild dito. It's just that Curao also has that element of surprise eh. Kasi malay mo, di ba? An upset can always happen. Ang dami nangyayaring upsets this year, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love it when those happen, right? And can you even count Curao taking down Velocity as an upset? I mean, this is a team that is built around a lot of VCT experience at Dinaman either way, no? So It's still up in the air as to what level of performance they can bring out here up against an actual VCT team, no? So again, it's a big testing ground for both of these squads, with Curao having more to prove in this roster, no? How solid their fundamentals are, how good their strats particularly are. I mean, we saw them in Haven. Can they do the same thing in Ascent? That is also, you know, one of the playing fields dito ng Velocity Gaming is the big question at hand.
There's a lot of questions in particular kasi sa parehong games natin or sa parehong teams natin, we don't see a lot of the experience watching them live din eh. Kasi this is one of the first times that we've seen Velocity Gaming on live. There's also Kurao's actually their first time talaga na mag-attempt na makapaglaro sa isang qualifier din. So a last chance for anybody who has been playing on a LAN. Again, fighting for that stage 4 qualification spot na agad eh, no? Let's talk about that a little bit,
yes.
The format. What do you think about that, right? You're incentivized by going into a LAN, and then once you win the whole damn thing, then talagang stage 4 ka agad. What do you think about that?
It's interesting, to say the least, right? I mean, you already got teams that are inside of the playing stage. You talk about Oasis Gaming, SR Nakage. They're already qualified because of their merits of the past season, no?
Yeah.
And what this means is there's going to be a mix-up of teams, right? Because those teams are already in the playing stage. They're going to be playing. There's a chance that they won't play against these guys. Yeah. And that really introduces, I think, an X factor. We're not going to have sort of a group stage where teams immediately get eliminated, and then in the playoffs, it's going to be just the well-known teams, right? It really gives a spotlight to those up-and-comers, which is what Curao could be here.
I also like the fact that we're also going to be getting like new fresh matchups in every stage that we're gonna be seeing. Kasi diba, yung mga nanalo nung stage 1, we're gonna be seeing them, or not gonna be seeing them up until like stage 4 na ulit. So we're gonna be focusing on new teams, new storylines. Tapos may mga bagong teams din na hindi nakapaglaro ng stage 1, na papasok pa lang sa group stage natin. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't watch the explainer video, nakapasok na din yung iba na hindi pa natin nakikita from this tournament alone. As you mentioned, it is Oasis Gaming, SR Nakage, yung core nila at least, and I believe we also have a UAAP team who also joined just because they won yung UAAP esports recently, diba? So kind of a mix-up in terms of the format so far. Parang ang interesting eh, no? Dami nating matchups na hindi pa natin nakikita, which makes the tournament feel that much more fresh.
Yeah, it feels so genuine as well that we're going to highlight a lot of these players. Speaking of players, let's see what these players are going to play in the map at hand, which is Ascent. Velocity Gaming going very standard. Yun na nga, nag-killjoy na nga si Georgie, hindi na siya nag-cypher. Curao, there's the deadlock.
Ooh, I've been looking out for something like this all tournament long.
Kay
The
Corazon
double
pa.
Sentinel composition for Curao. I've seen this in a few Game Changers teams wherein sobrang aggressive ng deadlock when it comes to the attacking rounds, right? So, yung nade niya na nakakapag forcibly crouch yung kahit sino na tatamaan niya dito, tapos dash in agad ng jet. Ito yung parang fundamental strategy na nakikita natin. This is why some people like to substitute that away from the KO, and now you kind of have a bit more of that map control once you actually get that space on the map. That also forces them to play a little bit slow, but in the end, medyo maganda yung payoff once you get that slow momentum going in your favor.
You know what I like to call an aggressive deadlock? I like it to call it the new age Sage.
Wow.
Because he played aggressive, played like a duelist. And Yokam playing aggressive against Kyler Vaughn, immediately decapitating the head of this spear. That is Curao. Finds Suz as well. About to peek up against Corazon. That's Tesseract pushing on, and this is VLT. Classic playstyle. Pushing on with Tesseract, chopping them down like a tree. And Monspeed suddenly all alone here, Chris.
My God, they realize that this has been the game plan for VLT all along. Literally surprising them on all corners of the map. Monspeed, 1v3, Tesseract first contact. A bit of an adjustment. 40 HP for this guy. Down to 0 with Yux realizing the situation. And a good start for VLT, just pushing on all corners of the map yet again. B main being controlled. Yokam starting off strong. His shots are hitting. Everybody's responding. A perfect time for Velocity as they pick up the pistol.
Yeah, and this is where Curao will get the chance to showcase just how different they are compared to the other teams that VLT has taken down, right? What are they going to do to adjust to this type of playstyle, to this type of aggression from VLT? Or are they going to fall prey, same as everyone else? Let's see. But this is a bit of a breather round for them. Curao, of course, this is the eco. So it could be an exception of a round. They didn't go for a forced buy. It's just pistols for them. And a bit of info as Monspeed finds Georgie. There you go. They shut down one of these players from VLT. And that should stop this push, at least for now.
Yeah. Yoks trying to be a little bit more passive, trying to get a chance, gets another over to Tate Les. That's a trade on and a beautiful paranoia as well. Deters an attempt out for the deadlock, making it a 4v4 with Tesseract, taking his chances, taking another risk. Yoks actually getting himself another confirmation, a lineup frag!
Wow.
1 bullet, 2 kills, a buy one, take one. A very good job for Tesseract in a 1v4 scenario against Monspeed. All the way from B main yet again, and he picks up another. You know, Tesseract is just one of those players. You can never expect him to pick up lots of frags like these because he's always on an info agent. Well, what if this info agent is the one who's hammering them?
Exactly. That's what you get, Tesseract. With a massive round, get a collat as well. And I got proven wrong there. The moment that one of the players for VLT got taken down, I was saying maybe it's time to slow down, but nope, Tesseract goes in for the peak, gets the double, and they just keep on pushing on. Now it's going to be a triple swing from VLT down in A, which is exactly where Curao is. It's a perfect read. Corazon. There's going to be the TP coming on through just to get the double swing in the inside of A main. Yokam finally spots it out, so they're not pushing any further. Skylar Ball and aggresses down into tree. Tags coming on through as Yokam finds his match. Tate Les takes him down. Paranoia only finds one. And that's the back off coming through. Curao, this is the adjustment I'm looking for. Georgie finds one, but after the fact, what is VLT gonna do?
That's literally something that they never expected, right? They got flashed by their own KO flash. That kind of deterred Choosy to actually refrag for the teammate. A very good adjustment for Curao. Expected that they are going to be at an advantageous position if they kept their aim in control. So Curao have to play a little bit more towards the strength, try to reset, see if they can actually force out the fight over to the ace side. Unfortunately, though, they're going to be facing up into a tri-stack where VLT are prepared for a gunfight. Corazon has a lineup all the way towards heaven, but they get spotted. A beautiful lineup from the knife. Choosy has already made his presence. Yuck's actually getting another. The defense is on fire. They had the lesser guns, the lesser weaponry. A 3K for Georgie as well. He goes down with the ship. A 1v2. Tate Les hiding behind the smoke, but VLT have already proven their ground, their worth over at the A site. He walks into the crosshair of Yucks. A 3-round streak for VLT. Their buy round has been converted.
And what a round for VLT. Somehow, someway, they knew that Curao had stacked down in A, which called for the rotation for them. You could see the pings happening after this play. Everyone for VLT converged to that A site after the pings came through, which means that they got the read. They got the read here. And they knew that they were going to push down into A side. They gave them an advantage, and the knife just all but confirmed that. Gave them the third round, even at a 3v4. VLT still won is just amazing here, Chris.
Pure instincts again for VLT. Fully trusting the heaven angle from Georgie.
Here.
Still ever so sharp. Comes to him, except for Yokam. A 2K for Zaz. This guy on the Sheriff is underrated, but 3 picks in a blink of an eye. VLT have wiped off the smirk that Curao has picked up for themselves as they're crumbling to pieces. 1v3 for Tate Les, and well, it's not his father that actually lost everything for him. It's also his teammates in the end. A 3K for Georgie, the 4th round for VLT. Well, it's the same thing over and over again.
Exactly. And we're talking about how Curao are going to adjust to this type of playstyle. VLT, I mean, of course, that was the eco. Curao able to find decent damage with a double swing from Saws. But now is where the true proving ground begins. 1 ult available for Tesseract, 2 ults for Curao. That's the Omen ult on top of the Neural Theft here. Could prove to be useful in this round where they have a 4-to-1 standard setup. Skylar Vaughn pushing up, but Georgie to find the first kill. I am the hunter. Georgie still somehow finds a kill before going down, and now it's down to 2. Tate Les all alone in B main.
It's not even a one-man effort. He actually corralled with the Hunter's Fury.
Here.
Set up from the other side of the map. Georgie had no fear. And thanks to the support from the Sova, this guy was just unstoppable up until the last frag. 2v4. They push on. They keep the ship rowing. Tesseract with another to Monspeed. Then it's all down to Tatay Les. Has the spike. Open A plant. But everybody else on VLT are all holding up both extremities of mid and link.
I love the way VLT are playing these defensive sides, man. I mean, nobody else approaches these maps like this. This is a very fresh look from them. And it's working. It's absolutely amazing that it's working. And the craziest thing about this is it requires a lot of utility when you want to push down all of the angles from the defensive side, right? And it feels like VLT don't even use that much, but they find a lot of this success so consistently.
Just nice communication for Choosy and Georgie in particular, right? They were shining through in that two-man defense on B main. And Choosy wasn't even on B to begin with. He literally was on the other side of the map, so for Georgie to come up clutch in these sort of situations, well, he's a big factor in these rounds. Yux gets spotted. Tatay Les already given his position. Not a lot of time and nothing to work with. Choosy will put the final cherry on top. The 5-0 so far for VLT. It's a stomping ground on the Ascent map so far. And the Boracay Killjoy is actually up in the server.
Enemy remaining.
There you go. The man himself, Georgie. And the squad that he's playing for now, VLT. Look at the kills. Georgie and Tesseract, 8 apiece. Both rocking the top of the scoreboard. And the eco not looking great for Curao. A couple of their players has a bulldog, but that's it.
Oh no.
Yokam. Pushing up. What? Anticipates the swing from Skylar Vaughn. And Yux right alongside him. Corazon finds Tesseract as a trade, but Curao, again, look, they're getting forced inside of their own spawn.
Literally the same scenario from the previous map.
Exactly.
Just forcing their opponents to play on their own pace. And they're getting pushed onto the spawn position. Flashed out from Choosy as well. Perfectly timed! Corazon blinded off the face of the earth. A 1v2, but Tatay Les could not do anything but die to the hands of Velocity Gaming. This is aggression with perfection.
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, it hasn't been flawless rounds, but it's been very, very clean here for Velocity. And the one thing that is a mystery to me is what adjustment are they gonna do here, Curao? I mean, I still have a suggestion here, Chris. Just go for the rush. That way they could isolate whoever's in the site and leave anyone that's pushing from behind with no one to face off rather. And they could just rush into the site, get the 50-50 going. Why aren't they doing that? I'm not sure.
Look, I just want to see an attempt at actually anticipating a rush coming out again.
Yeah.
And actually investing utility into anticipating that, right? So I'm thinking nade on to one of the extremities, maybe giving a chance to Skylar Vaughn. Definitely invest into that latter option. Gets another over to Tesseract as well. As they fall into the reset yet again, they leave Georgie on an island, so that's one thing that they're working with. But they are all invested on playing this A-mid extremity.
And look at the double swing. Yokam goes down. Choosy finds the trade, but that's the spots onto the spike. Yux using the paranoia. He does dodge! But he doesn't dodge the bullets. Corazon takes down Yux. And suddenly it's a winnable position, but it's Georgie in a 1v3. He's been in this spot before.
Oh, we've seen him do very dastardly things time and time again. But will he come up clutch against the up-and-comers of Curao? They have given themselves a chance to rotate all across the B site without Tatay Les using his ult. So that's an option for the later round for this time.
30 seconds left.
He is going to decide to push on. He hears the info. Shorty out. Georgie actually makes this a little bit more interesting. 2v1. And he peeks on to Corazon. Actually picks up a quad kill for Curao. They break through the possible 7th round winning streak that VLT were supposed to get, but in the end, they fall to Corazon's hands, and Skylar Vaughn actually gaining confidence.
Yeah, baby steps here, Chris. Baby steps. Corazon getting a 4K could be the key here to start this momentum that they need. Nice anticipation onto UX push there. Georgie unable to come up. Massive for the team. Gives the first round on the board for Curao, but it has to be 5 more rounds like this just to tie up the scoreline going into the second half. And Georgie come up big, gets spotted on by the spy cam, and Curao actually establishing some control down in mid. They're not pushing up yet. They forced a bit of rotation down from that aiming spot that VLT loves to take control of. And now it's a game here, Chris. But Tatayles, is he going to be able to get past that mid push?
No, I guess not. For Skylar Vaughn, at least. Yux, he's walking up a little bit too close. And Saws is actually getting himself a chance. 2 kills for him, in fact. Georgie wants to follow up right now. And VLT losing a chance. A winning position. Curao have full control of mid. Georgie also getting spotted out. Recon Vault activated just because of that drone. Yokam has already responded towards that B main extremity. As the slow creep up from Curao commences, and it starts with the Cypher. Deciphering the situation.
Can't use that yet. Turn out.
Before V3, Curao somehow keeps this man advantage as Monspeed decides puts the spike cap up inside of B. Spots out Georgie, but there's still one more player inside of both house here, Chris. They gotta clear out Yokam. About to activate the dash. Gets the one. The next one, still on the chopping block, up in the air. It's Saws. Has to clear up the side, but he can't. Yokam deals with him, and Curao falling apart. Tatayles finds one, but he's down to 1 HP. Does he have enough time to go for the TP play here? Bit of a silence coming on through.
No way.
10 seconds. I don't think he has enough time here, Chris.
Wait. He has to run. He has to
5.
run.
No! He can't get the defuse in time. A valiant effort, but Tatayles comes up short.
A little too close for comfort. He would have needed one more second. It could have been enough for him. But he was too far away.
Too far.
It's not even a question if he hesitated or not, because he actually was running at a quick pace. But by that position, he wasn't able to shave off at least a couple of seconds, even though he had his knife out. A quick exchange and a good response again for Curao. They decide to relegate themselves over to the mid side after a nice defense from VLT. But man, oh man, these resets for Velocity after he gets the manning advantage has been possible. The anime fight, Skylar Vaughn, even though he didn't see him, that's the knife fight in the end. And he wins out on the attacking side. Juicy, he will get naded just because of the deadlock. They push on in, the double, the 3K for Juicy. The KO has been activated, and because they walled themselves, this defender culture lockdown is going to be really strong.
Yeah, Georgie going to be coming up from up top as well. The lockdown is not forcing anyone off yet! Swing out from on speed, shuts down Georgie, but from behind, Tesseract strikes, finds Corazon, and it's just too easy up against the detainee. VLT on the board again, and 7-round lead this time, Chris.
What is that exchange? I literally can't comprehend with that. Let's take a look at the replay yet again in a bit, because that A-main aggress was just so risky for Curao to take, man. I mean, Juicy with a very strong position, because he could still shoot through that smoke. And because he got naded, Corazon, good util timing, but the position from the KO was just too much for them to handle. They could have cleared their corners.
And Velocity, the decisiveness here has been the key factor to their success. Popping the Killjoy ulti forces the players of Curao to stay inside of the site because of the lurk. And because of that, the lurkers, well, just make quick work of that.
Yeah.
So they take the round. Curao again with an A attempt, or a B attempt rather. But Georgie, look at the angle, Chris. It's so close. Yux take control of Catwalk again. Georgie finds one, but Corazon finds a trade. Tesseract, Juicy on the board, and Curao down to the last 2.
Annihilation still active for Corazon, but he decides to play a little bit slow. Now he gives his position away. Tesseract, nice position away from that wall as well. And it's a 1v3. Corazon, he has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Tesseract, ooh, he actually gives himself up. And another shot again for Corazon, but in the end, Yokam is there for the trade with a 9-1. It's getting a little too close for comfort for VLT, but they still win it out in the end. These pistols on the side of the attack has been a bit impactful to my liking as well, because they had a really good position over at mid. Almost seemed like they anticipated that they were going to aggress from that A-short extremity. But in the end, it didn't really matter.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they knew they were going to push, because VLT, they've been doing that ever since the game started here. Sheriffs, they made it close because they were anticipating the push, but ultimately, gun advantage.
Annihilation.
Paved its way through. The luck ult doesn't amount to anything, but Georgie again finds one before biting the dust. Forced them away with the Hunter's Fury, and Yokam acting as a second gun. Not gonna be able to push down in B site, but if Yokam pushes inside the B main, he might walk into 3 people staring at his face. Skylar Vaughn, up close and personal. Someone has to move. Ooh! It's gonna be Yokam pushing up. Skylar Vaughn gets wallbanged. And Tatay Les saws stuck in B main. That mid control is gonna be essential here, Chris.
Yeah, the Cypher has to peek on, but Tesseract actually takes a chance. He peeks, and Yokam also gets punished this time. They exchange blows. And corralling with what they have so far. Choosy, he dodges away from the recon dart, and that is the punish. Another from Tesseract as well. Even though Corral were doing their darndest to trade each other off, the numbers game was just too much to handle for VLT. Well, Corral, excuse me. VLT get a 10th round win, and again, it's the same story from that Haven game. They're putting the tempo on notice on the attack itself, and every time that they actually throw out util, they either dodge it away from it because they have a smoke inside them.
Yeah, and I love that Georgie always finds a kill with these aggressive pushes. Even when he's playing against 3-4 people, before going down, he finds one pick. Yokam pushes up. Bladestorm active. Yukes, where did he come from? He still gets the kill on Skylar Vaughn. No command in mid as defenders as Yokam pushes up into A lobby. It's all down to Tatay Les. Gets a couple of kills, but everyone converging on his position. Georgie with the bait, Shorty in hand, and gets the final nail in the coffin. VLT, a 10-round lead going into the second half.
Absolute domination on the CT side. VLT. Velocity is on a high for them. Holding W has always been what their game plan has been. Literally, 11 rounds for them. And so far, Corral, yes, on the T side, they actually got really good when it comes to their composition, right? Corazon had like the idea. Once they get map control, once they get themselves the site, then you put the wall down, then you make it hard for the retake to happen. But what happens is the retake never happens.
Yeah, it happened once. But even then, they couldn't defend. They couldn't defend the site. Still,
they walled themselves off.
Yeah, it was a lockdown. And it's just massacre here, Chris. Coral's got to dig deep. And they deep dig they will. They're going to push down in A. But Corazon coming up massive. Skylar Vaughn, Corazon, the two we'll be talking about. Might be just what they need. Skylar Vaughn up close, but Yuk X nips that aggression in the bud. Leaves Georgie all alone. Sheriff in hand.
What?
Georgie still fends the kill. Now it's a 1v1.
Ooh, and he's running, and he's running. Monspeed can hear
he
this.
can hear him.
Monspeed can hear this. The knife! And Monspeed actually gets him down. It is the second round. Corral have closed this with the pistol round win. This was one of the things that we have been looking out for in the Haven map. When are they going to get punished for their over-aggress? This time on the defensive side, they got a taste of their own medicine.
Yes.
But I would say this pistol can do a lot for the side of Corral, because now they got the pistol. Will the force buy come in for the side of VLT? Because if they lose that force buy, then it's going to be winning ways for Corral. They're going to have 2 straight rounds in a row for them.
Yeah, VLT. I mean, they could. They have the rounds to spare, that's for sure. Remember, the scoreline is 11-2. They have 9 rounds to work with here, so might as well. Oh, it starts off wonderfully, though. Yuk's taking down Skylar. That could be a gun they could recover. And they're pushing up. Look at the paranoia, using it just to get to that Vandal. And successfully, Tesseract will be getting that gun.
Oh my. That's something that you do not want to give, especially since they didn't buy that much into this round. They need 1 gun in the hands of VLT, but Corazon, yes, it's the 1-for-1 trade-off. Monspeed has to be careful. He peeks this, he peeks into 3 very hungry velocity players. They decide to actually count on the Omen smoke. Or they can actually take a chance. Yux, he pushes in towards the smoke. A second again for Monspeed. Beautifully done from the Cypher as a 3K comes in. Yokam has to do it alone. And he pushes onto Monspeed as well. Dashes in towards the site. Tries to isolate the picks. 1v3 now, 30 seconds. Has to deal with the deadlock inside. Tries to bait it out, but Corazon also had his own Vandal. Also gets a double kill for his troubles. A 3K.
You're all more important.
3-round wins for Corral this time around.
Yeah, Corral 3-11 is starting to make a little bit of noise now with Monspeed. crazy impact in this round. Didn't even opt for a Stinger or a Spectre or even a Bulldog, just a Sheriff. And 3 kills. The patience from Modspeed speaks volumes in that round, gives them a little bit of bump up in speed here, Chris. 3-11, I mean, it's not the best scoreline, but it's workable for Corral at least. But let's see what kind of impact they could get with VLT finally on their guns.
What are they cooking with Yux on the judge? That's something that I want to know. I mean, everybody else has a Vandal. You got Yokam actually priming his dash up. They got a very fast execute on A, but look at the trips. They are also knifed out. The KO putting a lot of value into the execution. As Yokam, he still wants to get more frags. Choosy is waiting on his teammate to call for the flash itself, but they got a 5v4 on our hands.
Yeah, Choosy tuckling his tail back into that garage position as Georgie finds the flank, not finding any kills though, but Yokam does. Down to 2 Corral, and the gun singing for VLT. Yokam with the ADS and the final kill, the 4K, and the match point secured for Yokam and Velocity.
And it's as fast as that. VLT, they primed their guns up, they are shooting with the stars, and Corral, oh, they're gonna feel the pressure this time around. Backs against the wall as Yokam, he's fired up in this best of 3. They have a lot of chances once we head on into the Lotus map, but this a set game has all been VLT so far.
Yeah.
Look at the frags.
Man.
It's literally distributed evenly across the board.
That's the thing, they're all aggressive here. Couple that with good momentum as well as Skylar Vaughn looks to stop them right now. At least Yux pushing up. Tesseract! What? Gets a double somehow. And Skylar Vaughn, his work has been nullified by Yokam, who leaves their Cypher all alone here, Chris. Neural Theft's gonna be there as Yux is gonna be able to get the spike down, but it's gonna be a retake. And it's gonna be a gigantic order still. Ooh. Okay, Monspeed starts it wonderfully though, taking out Yokam, so it's a 1v1. But look at the pathing here. Might be caught off guard by the position in tree of Yux.
Shadows traveling.
It's already 15 seconds shaved off of the clock right now, so he has to clear every corner. Yux already in a prime position. Once he taps the bomb, that's when he will strike. Monspeed has no cage, has to play around the one way as well. Yux is just pushing in and gets the double, the cherry on top. That is Velocity Gaming securing the Ascent game just as easy as that.
Just like that, they make it look easy and secure Ascent. I mean, this is what we're talking about. Why would you pick Ascent against a team like Velocity? That's what happens.
Yeah.
Corral unable to find a lot of space there. Gives us a 1-0, but there's still room. This is the best of 3 after all.
Yeah, actually, like literally that first game is something that you gotta break your sweat off if ever that you are Corral, because it kind of leads into question, why did you pick the Ascent game, since the Ascent map is something that a lot of teams like to practice on, like to practice their fundamentals on. But nevertheless, it was a very clean game again for Velocity Gaming, because if you looked at how they played that defense, it literally was the same story from the Haven game, just finding opportunities to push, finding opportunities to take that first contact. Yokam having no trouble even risking himself to get that first blood going. And it's not even just him, it's everybody else on the team finding extremities that they can actually push on.
Yeah, and I love it. There's a little bit of a method here to the madness that is this VLT defense. Choosy on the KO, I think found a lot of unsung impact on that KO, right? Over and over again, he was throwing the knives, using the null command down in mid, and this denies a lot actually from the attack, right? There was a one particular scenario where it was Yux all alone who couldn't TP into the side. This was the one round that he couldn't get the spike down in time. It was because Choosy pushed down mid with the null command, and the tip of the ults here, the tip of the ult of the null command, just catch Choosy at the last second, denying him to TP.
Yeah, sometimes it's just the tips, right? It's just quick and easy enough for VLT. As, you know, I could see a lot of their synergy cooking through, right? And it took a bit of time for them. Last week, it wasn't as clean as they would have wanted it to be, but after some time, they're able to get the synergy going. They know the game plan, they know what the strength is, getting first contact on anything. Because if you think about it, 3 of these players have had experience playing duelists anyway, so it gotta make sense. If you want to be comfortable on a new role, just play the role that you were comfortable with before. You played Sentinel, before you played the Smoker role, for example. Yux was a duelist before, Georgie was a duelist for the entirety of his life. So it's kind of like the same game plan of fighting first contact, even on the defense, because literally that's how they played for the rest of their career.
Yeah, there you go. A deeper look into the numbers. Just show us the tail of the tape here. Look at the kills on VLT.
Satisfying.
It's almost the same across all of them.
Absolutely satisfying. It's like that first crunch when you had your first thin crust pizza. It's just something that you expect from a team that actually practice all throughout, right? I mean, we're not Velocity Gaming fans whatsoever, but this one is making me become one. This one's making me believe in this team so far. I want to see a lot more from this other team, because so far, Corazon and Skylar Vaughn, they have a potential. They have a lot of things to work with since their synergy has been doing really well, especially in their Haven game. I want to see a lot more of that once we head on into this Lotus map, because Lotus, that's where set plays are born.
Yeah, and it's a completely different playing field compared to Ascent, right? And I want to double down on your argument there. Corazon and Skylar Vaughn, they don't only have potential, they have experience as well.
Yeah.
Right? And I think with their leadership, this team could really shine in Lotus. But guys, that game is just a concluder for game number 1 of our grand finals. It's not only VLT that's the winners. You guys could be winners too. That's right. We're giving away exclusive Predator Gaming merch. All you gotta do is predict and win. More specifically, all you gotta do is like and follow Predator Gaming, share the stream with the hashtag PLPH2025, that's PLPH2025, and comment who do you think is gonna win this week's qualifier. Is it going to be VLT or is it going to be Skylar Vaughn's squad? Comment down in the section below, the comment section down below. But that just concludes game number 1 of our grand finals in determining who is going to head to stage 4 from Visayas. My name is Adam here with Ramon for Predator League PH 2025 qualifiers. We'll be right back after this.
The X38 is the latest high-octane curved display from Predator. This zero-frame behemoth has a 37.5-inch span and a 2300R curve in glorious 21:9, so that you can fill your peripheral vision with pure gameplay for all-out immersion. And with a very ergonomical stand, positioning this colossal display is
It is possibly the last chance for Kurawa as we head on into the Lotus map. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ramon. With me is Datum. This has been a very fun first game kanina, but now, napakainit na ng laban kasi Lotus na, and it is series point for the side of Velocity Gaming. My goodness, man. I mean, how do you beat this team that like to steamroll you even there on the defense?
I don't know. That's what Kurao is trying to figure out right now, right? And you gotta remember as well, Chris, that it is Velocity that picked up this map number 2, right? So
Yep.
you know they're cooking in this map. You know they have something in store for us. They have something in store for Kurao. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a treat to witness. But playing up against as Kurao, I can only imagine what that's going to be like, right?
Yeah.
Especially in stakes like this.
Yeah.
One map, you lose it, and you lose your chance at stage 4. It's grueling to the mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Scholar Von squad will have something cooked up for them talaga all throughout this Lotus game kasi you gotta expect na kapag may kalaban kang nag-pick na Lotus na alam mong may mga map strats sila dito eh. Rubble control, mount control, and possibly even a 5-man rush from the B position as we head on into the map reveal. The Lotus map is right here, mga kaibigan. And of course, that also means that it is also the home of Velocity Gaming. They picked this up for themselves. They have a very strong defense doon sa ating ascent map, which kind of also tells me that they're one of these teams that like to control Rubble every single time.
Yeah, absolutely. You know for a fact. Rubble, Mound, B main, they're all gonna push that for sure with the way that Velocity has approached every single map we've had so far, right? And in maps like Haven and Lotus, right, where your defense is spread thin, you would expect this to not be the case with them being aggressive because you lose one player, that's one part of the map that you don't have a defensive line out anymore. But no, Velocity, they've already proven to us that no matter which map they play, they're gonna be playing aggress.
Yeah, literally. And you kind of compare that to a map that's kind of similar to Lotus with 3 sites. It's also Haven, where they played very earlier with their first semifinals. Literally, all they did was push. And even those anchoring players were the ones initiating those fights as well. I kind of want to see if Georgie actually sticks to a sentinel role, even though Yokam actually does a lot of good work on the duelist. I want to see if Georgie is actually the type of player that actually flexes around with, depending on what type of map is actually playing. But I'm also on this ride where Georgie is on the sentinel era. At parang okay na sa kanya, pa-chill-chill lang. Yung hayaan mo na lang yung mga bata, naglalaro lang sa'yo. Para sa'yo, diba?
And for some reason, I think it really fits a lot of players who used to be duelist mains stepping into the Killjoy, the Sentinel.
Sin.
Yeah, see dubstep, right? I mean, there's a lot of players that do that. I mean, every now and then you get exceptions like Tense towards the controller role. But in my opinion, that takes an extra layer of difficulty because controllers, in my head, are the hardest roles in the game. So, enough about that. I mean, yeah, I think Georgie's going to play the Sentinel. I mean, he plays it really well anyway. But enough about the mind games. Let's take a look what Georgie is playing. Let's take a look what everyone is playing. Let's head straight into the Agent Select Kurao. Let's take a look at their comp. They actually go for a Fade and a Breach combo. And for the other side, though, well, I guess you're right. Georgie's not going to play Sentinel.
Yeah, now going to be picking up the controller role for Squad, but it's Clove. So remember, that's a double controller comp, and Clove on Georgie kind of is a bit of his comfort role. When Clove came out, and I'm telling you this is a personal account, when Clove came out, Georgie, all that he was playing was Clove. Literally. Like literally on the stream, you would watch it, Georgie likes to play a lot of Clove. He has been preparing for this moment where he could pull it out in a very professional game right here, right now. And this is the time to shine for him right here. So what can you say about the double controller comp that has been kind of the meta when it comes to like big maps like these?
Yeah, I mean, not about the double controller, but with the Clove entering the comp here for VLT and then taking the Sentinel out of the equation, I think this only makes sense for the way they play the map. Yeah. They don't necessarily seem to need the Killjoy util, the Cypher util anyway, because Georgie pushes up whatever he uses anyway.
Yeah.
So might as well put him in a fragging agent and take a look at the results. Georgie with the first blood, shutting down Skylar Bond, and Yokan Gets the spike in front of him, and Saw's going down. That's info. Everyone rotating towards that C-main angle in Mound. And Kurao down to the last 2 players here, Chris.
They even lock away the lurker from the side of Kurao. And they made a bit of noise as well. So not even giving a bit of an inch to VLT. Not even giving a bit of a second to actually reconsider their own actions right here. As they slowly creep up onto the C site. And because of that one Prowler, they are confirmed of their position. So you got a lurk coming down from both Yux and Choosy. Well, about the Fade as well. Choosy is also holding down that Hall's position, thinking that somebody might actually be with Corazon. So they decide to actually push before the fight, and Center God, the sub is coming in for Kurao. That's a 2v2. They also find Tesseract, but they haven't spotted out Yux. This guy is the lurker. This guy has his knife out, finds one, but doesn't get Center God. This probably could be the adjustment they're looking for, as Tesseract is looking to fight off the last 2.
Yeah, a 1v2. A veteran here in the scene. Looking to isolate the fights. Gets the correct angle, but not the correct shot. Kurao strike first. 1-0 on the board in map number 2. And this is a pretty good start, I dare say, Chris.
I don't know if this is a sub or it was a new, the same player using a different account, because this could possibly be a bit of an adjustment. So there's a bit of like confidence rising, some aura already fuming from the hands of Corazon right now, just taking these fights head on that mount position. Yes, they missed the timing, actually missing the opportunity to find Yokam after the push on from Georgie, because it was all a bait and switch in the first place. But that nice adjustment from the smoke, you also got a bit of a chance from Yux as well, who also was using the smoke to his own advantage. But also checking the corners, fundamentals on check. Corazon also taking down Tesseract. That's one of the lurkers, one of the people holding down that beam in extremity, falling down to the ground. It's Bucky coming in hand as well for Yokam, but Chusi will eventually trade it out eventually. 3v4, Kurao. They have gotten B site with full conviction.
Skylar Vaughn down holding a link. Unable to shut down Zooks for now, but it's a 1v3. I don't think Yux can be able to do much here, especially up against Sintor God, who has the charge in hand. Just outside of Breakable. Ooh. Down in B. Yux somehow finds Saws. Up close.
You heard him.
God. Yeah, I don't think Centaur God loses these. Yeah, there's no way. 2-0. Kurao, I mean, a fair bit of damage done. 3 players going down, but 2 rounds in a row, I mean, it's more than they've done in the last game.
Yeah, literally. Already an improvement from them. And I don't even care that it was a lost conversion for them in terms of like keeping all the guns into the next round. I'm already contented that they're actually taking chances on their fights this time. Because now with an aggressive push on B, they also checked their corners over to the B main extremity. They found Tesseract. They were able to fight off that defense on the B site as well. And once they planted the spike down, they also had like a good bait and switch setup as well. From the slow angle over to the other side of the map, Yokam and Tesseract, they start the aggression over at that Noun side. This is what we've been talking about, Velocity Gaming. They like to fight for the sites, but it is Saws. Actually, he takes a chance for himself. That's another kill over to Yokam. And with the smokes down, that's a bit of a reset for him.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Kurao still very deep into their own spawn, though, as they're just waiting for Yux to push up. Look at the judge still on the hold of Sintor God, waiting for Yux to push. And I love this adjustment from Kurao, right? The last game, they couldn't find any rounds because this was their default. Just wait for anyone to push. Back then, they couldn't win any rounds because, well, VLT was just pummeling them with sheer numbers. But this time, seems to be working out at least a little bit better. Not to mention, well, they are having a gun disadvantage and a man disadvantage for that. Choose finds a bit of info. 2 players down in mid. But they decide to back off with Sauce finding Tesseract. I like this. Kurao covering their corners, covering their backs. Yux
30 seconds left.
has to be watched here. Unless Georgie can hold on his own. Laying up against the smoke.
Oh, he heard him all over this corner, and finally gets some damage done. He also has a bit of a timing. He could also use that door just to cover up his tracks. 3v2.
Right there.
And Yux already bundled up
left.
with his team. Smoke on down to the 3 position. Choosy also on the front line as well. So it is Kurao. Backs against the walls. Spike planted down as well. Question if they can push, but again, Saz showing what he can do. but Juicy was at the right place at the right time, and it's all on the breach. Tries to plant out through the smoke as well, reloading down. Georgie pushing in, and his dastardly acts have again profited with Velocity Gaming getting their first round, but at what cost?
Yeah, 3 players going down here for Velocity. Not the best look for them, but hey, round is a round. They convert their buy round, and Georgie, well, he was the final bastion there. Not going down, taking down Mon Speed, finding a timing into 3 as well was really what pinched this post plant for them. Curao got 2 rounds on the board this early. Gotta be a good thing for them. But it makes you wonder, now that VLT has got their guns, now that they've got themselves on the board, is it going to be the same story as last game? Is Curao gonna fall into the hands of Yokam's push? Seems like this time they're not letting it happen. Breach Util really doing wonders for Curao's defense here. And I say Curao's defense even when they're on the attack. It's mind-boggling. It's crazy.
I mean, you're just that good of an analyst. You know what I mean? I mean, you already see what happens before they actually switch onto the sides. Well, Scott Vaughn, well, what he sees is over at the other side of that wall. He sees Yokam, almost had he had X-ray glasses. Choosy doesn't see anything.
Wow.
Perfect paranoia. And a very nice push out for Suz as well. That is a 4v2. A breakthrough in the C site, and that's after a very aggressive attempt from VLT over at Holding Mound.
Yeah, again, they pushed down inside of C main, but they couldn't find the angle because there were just too many. Corazon finding Tesseract. Yukes find the timing onto Saz, but it's a 1v3 now. Paranoia is available, but he finds it only connecting to Sint or God in a very cheeky corner. So Yukes have lots of work that he won't be able to do. He goes down. VLT again. They attempt the mount control push, but it's just a tight corridor for one single breach to deny them of that push. And Curao, they're finally finding the rhythm. They're finally getting the read that C has been the priority here for VLT. And now VLT are the ones that are pressured to adjust. This time they need to shift their focus to somewhere else.
Now finally, their mid-round calling, their strength from the Haven game shining through yet again. Their adaptation from the situation now has shifted. Now they're not scared to play on the tempo of VLT anymore. Now they're adapting to what has been thrown at them. That's what's been missing from their Ascent game.
Exactly.
Now they're waiting for what's being thrown at them before they can react. Skylar Vaughn, he does get concussed, but Yux, he gives himself a chance to push on. But a nice shot from the Sheriff, and he even puts up for more. That's Yokam with the overdrive, pushes on with the Prowler. Another second out for Choosy as well. They're both trading blows on Mound, but Choosy is choosing to fight. 1v3 for Corral. As Monpete, he has to push on, but he pushes to the crosser of Choosy. And now VLT, they go back to their winning ways.
What the heck was that? Yukes finds a kill, TP's up, and uses the paranoia to blind everyone in his way. It was such an awkward encounter, but VLT, they take it by storm again. And Corao caught just like they were back in the previous map. I mean, that's the way VLT wins this map with a wins this round with a thrifty, and that push from Yukes is impressive. But as for repeatability here, Chris, they gotta get the read right again. This time they knew that A site was gonna be the push, but it has to be every single time. Yokes though don't need no reads, he just needs a node in. Skylar Bond finds 2 kills somehow after sliding in, and Curao, they're the ones looking for a thrifty now.
Just throwing the clothesline from hell. And he is forcing him to push on Juicy. Always so aggressive, just following the tempo, following the pace of VLT. Now forces the 2v2 to come out from the defense, making it a little bit more doable for Corral. Saz pushing on. The spray does come up online for Georgie. He uses the NDY. He adjusts perfectly to Corazon. And what would have been a breakthrough for Corral has fumbled thanks to Georgie and his ulti.
Yeah, 3-3. VLT starting to come back here. Let's take a look at that one more time. Skylar Vaughn with a spotlight performance here, getting a couple of kills, but after that, Juicy just does the same. Pushes up against the smoke, and it started to fall apart from there with Georgie as well. The NDY coming up clutch. It's a 3-3 now. VLT Hey Chris, we got a game in our hands.
Literally, man. I mean, this is the closest that we could get for VLT and getting contested. And at this point, I'm pretty happy to see Corao actually stepping up because now they're actually not scared to contest them, even though with the early smokes being put down on B main, they're looking at that smoke. They're anticipating that somebody's actually gonna try to do something weird. And now Skylar Vaughn, he is contesting, he's pushing, he's fighting Yokam! But he gets the Phantom in hand, the headshot through towards the Neon. Rubble in full control of VLT. They're forced to fight back and run away towards the B site.
Yeah, Mound, or rather, Rubble in full control of VLT. I like the read. VLT seemingly know where Corao are gonna push up. This time, the A read work wonders again. With one player left in the lurk though.
Spotted.
VLT spots out that turret. Ooh. And that's gonna give them the go signal to go for the Rolling Thunder inside of Mound. Zinter God unable to shut down Yokam, and it's gonna be another kill for the Neon before going down. But the lurk from Mon's feet makes it a little bit wonky until it isn't. Yux shuts him down just like that, and VLT, they're finding their stride here again, Chris. Corao has got to stop it.
No hesitation at all to use the Rolling Thunder this time, and when you have the Neon with you, that's where it gets funky for VLT. No hesitation for Yokam to push on 3 kills as well for the Neon. 3 ult orbs invested for Yokam as his overdrive is closer and closer to getting achieved for him. This is what I like about VLT. They're not hesitating to use any resources available to them. Choosy would have had the option to keep that Rolling Thunder for retakes, but he decided that he wanted to hold Mound, fight for it before they could even have a chance at the site itself.
And the thing is, that's also a risk, right? They didn't have any complete information.
Absolutely.
They just knew that the Killjoy was up in the lurk. There was the turret in mid. So where were the players at? Either Rubble or Mound. They made a gamble, a 50-50 gamble, and they just made it work. They got all 3 players with the Rolling Thunder, and Corao going down because of it. I love it. VLT's decision-making has just been on point this game.
Yep, and Tesseract definitely taking a chance for himself. Overdrive activated as well. Dash in. Skylar Vaughn, he's still alive for some reason. He teleports out into the side, but Yokam, he puts on his own overdrive, and his highlight reel will be all over the map with a 4K from Yokam himself. Remember his name. He isn't this guy anymore. He is Yokam, ladies and gentlemen.
What the hell was that? I want to see that again! How he was able to deal with the enemy Neon and then, while being concussed, activates the overdrive, gets the final kill, playing around the double smokes. What the? I want to say some unholy things, Chris, but that was insane play from Yokam.
And honestly,
absolutely.
I can't even blame you for that, man. I mean, this guy has been doing unholy things. And we're in for a wild ride. Skylar Vaughn, he has no hesitation anymore. Nightfall out as well from the Fade. He wants to get the B side, but Choosy and Georgie say no. They got B side on full lockdown. And remember, it was the buy round, so they could have actually worked with this. But while he was dashing, he killed them run and gun. It's the drive-by from Yokam. A 6th round win for VLT.
It's Yokam again, the highlight reel harvester in this game. And I think that's what they needed. The extra push that VLT needed was that play. And take a look off of that, 5 consecutive round wins. And it started again. This snowball, this rolling down, it's creating an avalanche of success for VLT. Corao seeming to be crumbling up against this wall of snow that VLT is rolling up on. It's continuing. This round, another opportunity, but Corao don't have the guns.
I'm going to even be surprised if Yokam opens the door after he realizes that B might actually be the focus. Corao relying on that first blood for Skylar Vaughn. He's been the star of the show so far, but in the end, he gets upstaged by Choosy himself. Gets a second, possibly. No, Corazon will knock it down. A second as well from a Sheriff. This guy could actually be the hope and dream for them, but Yokam will shut it down. A double from Yokam. This guy has no fear. A 4K for Corazon, a 1v1. But it's Georgie. At the end of the day, it's the Boracay Clove that wins out the 7th round.
Again, VLT's members come up massive. Another highlight play.
And he's even jumping down.
For Georgie. Look at the players getting hyped. I mean, I would have been too. I would have been to... I don't even know what to say. VLT came to the last man, but again, it's... Look at this play coming through. I mean, choose, yes, a solid hold from them. But again, it's the neon play. Let's take a look at that one more time from Yokam. Up against a sheer amount of util. Gets a couple of kills. I mean, Corazon came up massive with that sheriff. But Georgie stays composed through the paranoia. Wins the round. 7 rounds in a row. Sorry, 6 rounds in a row for VLT. But it might as well just have been 7 because they definitely are on a roll.
On a roll, on a high. You can call it whatever you want. But you could say their adrenaline is rushing through their veins. VLT will light upon getting that first blood. Now will crumble with that passive approach. It's the Rolling Thunder yet again. Corazon will read Georgie through the smoke as well. Nightfall activated, but Skylar Vaughn will win the Neon 1v1. They eventually get a breakthrough, but Chuzi and Yux will shut it all down until Saz and Corazon have something to say.
Okay.
With a 1v3 this time for Tesseract, what can he do? Nothing! It's Saz with a double. It's a 4-round win for the Sada Corral. Finally, they breathe some life.
Yeah, they've rushed down into the seaside, and I think they found that... that call. Just go in. Just don't ask for permission from VLT. Just force your way in. And that way, VLT are forced to play at the same tempo that they're putting up to the table. Corral, the only way they got control of site so quickly is because they took the fight to the enemy. Don't let that utility slow them down. In fact, use it to get back into sight faster. And Corral contesting these angles has definitely been a key factor for them. But VLT, they're looking to slow down. Double up setup here. And the swing from Georgie up against the Nano Swarm. He spotted out. Still gets a kill until he activates the NDY. Where is he going to position himself into? Nowhere. But Yokam's already in the site. That's another operator in play here. Smoke's coming down here in C site. An absolute battleground. Where's the spike? It's in Mound, Chris.
They literally forgot about the objective. Yokam and Chuzi. They have locked out of the site. Eventually, Skylar Vaughn gets found out as well. The objective forgotten. They wanted the frags. They wanted to fight. But in the pressure, in the chaos of all of it, Corral have fumbled against Georgie in familiar territory. The operator singing on the hands of the Clove. And even though the NDY did not do anything but buy time, it was in fact VLT's time to shine with their teamwork and the response shining through. With an 8-round win to prevail in that first half. Their defense, although it wasn't as pacey as the last 2 games, literally VLT have won through sheer synergy.
Yep. And Georgie, man, that swing against the Nano Swarm, getting a kill before activating the ult. I mean, as you said, it bought nothing but time. But time was all VLT needed. Time to rotate, time to get that op inside a C. And time to get that 8th round on the board, 8-4. I mean, it wasn't as hefty of a lead as it was in Ascent, but it's still a considerable one. And Yux, take a look at this approach from Corral, though. Denying that mount control is, I think, important, but the spike is in B.
Yeah, Spike is trying to at least find a bit of a chance to get themselves out of the corner of the B side. Yokam taking this a little too slowly. Try to bait out the util, but Saz, oh, he's not baited at all. He wanted to take the fight. He wanted to take it to VLT, but Georgie gets spotted out. Mon Speed expected through the smoke right now as he uses that pick-me-up and tries to pick up Corazon through the wall as well. A second frag again for the side of VLT. This could be a good chance for Skylar Vaughn, but in the end, he fumbled it. Another dash on for Yokam as well, showing a showcase of how his Neon can work wonders all across that rubble area. And a 1v3 this time for Saz. He's doing really well so far in the pistol, but not against Georgie. A double for the Clove, a 9th round for VLT.
Yeah. And it's crazy too because VLT, they started off that round without one player. Remember, Saz finding a target in Mound leaves a man deficit here for VLT, but again, Yokam wreaking havoc, and then Georgie for the closure, both of them getting double kills, just meant that that man advantage amounted to nothing. In fact, it got turned by VLT into their own, and Corral back to square one. No force buy this time, but 3 Bulldogs for VLT.
Don't mind that at all. VLT wants to score this right here, right now. Stage 4 on the horizon.
Yep.
And you have 2 shots left. Want to secure themselves that play-in spot. Corazon, he's holding up that position. The smoke is not safe for him as he gets spotted by the Prowler, and Tesseract's Bulldog will bite him down with a 5 versus 3, especially with Georgie and Yokam. He's just cleaning house all across the A site.
Yeah, he's looking to make it a flawless round as well. 2 players left, but positions noted. Only one. Monspeed coming in from the flank from Rubble. Could spot out Georgie, who was conveniently 1 HP for him, but look at Yokam. What was that? What was that, Chris? I couldn't even see the neon.
Mid-dash, and almost like he saw him all the way across the other side of the map, man. I mean, Yokam, drive-by.
I don't know.
I feel like if Yokam had a license, if he had enough money to buy a car, I feel like it'd be a lowrider.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the hydraulics.
Yeah. He'd had like a dancing car, you know, because he's that cool. Drive-buying, showing off what he can do. 10-4 so far for VLT as they not only walk into C, but they even claim it as their own.
Wow. It's free. VLT. I mean, Corral went for a risk here, just putting a lot of defense inside of B&A, but VLT got the read again somehow, and Monspeed shuts down Yukes. Okay, that's a good start for this retake. Corral, Skylar Vaughn's got to come up massive. What? A big fumble. Skylar Vaughn clears the corner, but doesn't get the shot. Didn't have enough time to react, and now Corral down to 3. Monspeed coming in from Waterfall. 1 player coming in from that CT side, but Yokam, it's an absolute stronghold, and then Corazon finds one. Yokam again gets the opening pick. Monspeed shuts down Yokam. For now, it's 2v2, doable position. Monspeed, no utility available, but swing is enough. A 1v2 now, all down to Juicy, who doesn't win the fight. There you go. Monspeed,
but no
gets
time,
the kill,
no time,
but not the round.
Oh no!
It's still a clutch. Juicy buys enough time, and VLT 11 on the board. Chris.
No time for VLT. I mean, that actually gave them the 11th round. Corral. Oh, that would have been their best chance, especially with the step up. Especially with the chance given to them because of the Killjoy. But at the end of the day, Monspeed and his efforts were definitely not incentivized. Literally just because a bit of hesitation. Possibly the amount of seconds that was bought because of Choosy. And that was so close for comfort, man. VLT showing off how well they do in the chaos. Again, they go back to how they possibly give away one of the rounds, just giving so much control over C, where A side is looking wide open.
Yeah. It's exactly as the last round. It's just completely free. And Corral, they just can't get the read right on BLT. A rush down into A, and Corral leave it wide open. Ooh, but it's a double pincer move. 3 players coming in from the flank. Yokam! A disgusting shot! Zinter God gonna be able to find the trade onto Yokam. At least that's some consolation. And Zinter God finds another before going down. Georgie comes in, gets the heal, and the 3K as well. It's all falling apart. Corral down to just Corazon, the top frag, a seasoned veteran. But will we have enough time? There's gonna be the tap, but it's just not gonna be enough. That's all it is, the tap. Georgie comes up bigger with the 4K, and BLT with the match point.
And it would have been a really strong shift in momentum if it wasn't for Georgie and his ult yet again.
Wow.
Yokam to start it, the fire starter for the team. That one tap all the way from that rubble spot did not even bear fruit to the other side of the team. Georgie showing off why he was sought after for so many years for a lot of teams who were looking upon his potential. He is a seasoned veteran, now showing why these kids have to fear him. Match point for VLT. And their attack is looking so strong as Yokam, the movement god, just dodging away from the bullets, activates the overdrive, hunts for more, and possibly a third, but Skylar Vaughn will get denied, in fact, as Velocity Gaming have won it out with pure aggression. A 2-0 as they walk into stage 4 just like that.
That is absolute domination here from their squad. Velocity Gaming, well, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
You've sold me, guys. Okay, I'll buy your merch.
Sige na nga.
Okay, fine. You guys are good.
Fine.
We get it.
Okay, we got it. We got the message. These guys are looking as hungry as ever to claim their spot over at stage 4, and we definitely did.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, they did it without breaking a sweat at all. Although that Lotus game saw a bit of improvement on the side of Corral, it just wasn't enough. I mean, the raw aim, the raw firepower, and the communication was just on point. How many times have we seen Velocity Gaming at their peak because of these mid-round calls?
Yeah, it's not just the mid-round calls, the pre-round calls, right? The read consistently being found, especially on the attacking side. The one time that Curao left C-side wide open, Velocity knew. They just went straight in. A-side as well, they knew. They went straight for that. And then you gotta consider this X factor, the elephant in the room, Mr. Yokam. What is this guy on, Chris?
What is this guy eating? I want to know what his breakfast is, what his sensitivity is. I mean, I get it. This guy has always been touted as a young, talented player. Ever since his stint as Patrick Watson, now everybody knows him as Yokam. And, well, I think this stream has been a huge highlight reel for him. He has been putting up a lot of numbers. He has been doing really well with Georgie. And, in fact, I think he could just step up with anybody else on the server. Just put him in front of a very high-pressure situation, and he's got it every single time.
He's gonna wreak havoc. I mean, take a look at this highlight reel. It's filled with Yokam flicks, Yokam kills, and it's just absolutely wonderful. A team like Velocity thriving still, right? Despite the recent changes in the Valorant here in the country, right? It's nice to see these players finding a home, still finding their strive, and finding a proper place. Look at Georgie here. Winning the fight. I mean, you talk about Corazon as well, right? These players, Skylar Bond, these are still veterans in the scene as well, right? And I hope they could create this roster to even to amount to something even as big, perhaps, as Velocity has made themselves now. But still, it's brimming with potential, this squad. But Velocity, the potential that they have, they're already taking advantage of. And the man with the most, I dare say, is Yokam. Take a look at that scoreboard.
And look, it's a big compliment if you're actually being compared, not even compared, like fragging side by side with one of the best duelists in the Philippines. I mean, Georgie in itself has already been a household name in the local scene, but Yokam seemingly climbing himself up the ranks is proving to be one heck of a strong point for VLT. And he was like that on the Cardi Esports roster, but now he is showing his name and he's showing why people should fear him.
Yeah, and I think this is really a showcase of just how good Yokam could be. And I dare say Yokam is going to be even more popular than Patrick Watson, right? With a spotlight performance like this, a debut performance like this. I mean, this is arguably the biggest stage that they've been in ever since their roster got picked up by Velocity. And it was no short of an explosive performance.
Yeah, not even just explosive. It was just all over the place, man. In a good way, literally. Because they were all over the place. Every single time that you see yourself leading with your back, literally, they're just right behind you. They're ready to backstab you. They're ready to confront you in mid. They're ready to actually counter you with counter aggression every single time that they want to aggress onto you. It's almost like every time that you have a game-winning plan, they have a game-winning plan. Literally. ×2.
Yeah, and it doesn't even feel like that, right? It feels like they were just fragging out on the server.
Feels like a rank game.
It doesn't feel like they had strats prepared, but they were. I mean, we could see just how well they prepared for this matchup, just how well they could read their opponent, and just how well they could win a best-of-3 just like that. Let's take a look at the update bracket to make a recap of what's transpired today in the Visayas qualifier. And there you go. Velocity Gaming gonna be representing Visayas as they claim the region champs.
Yep, and just because of that, we have 4 qualified teams over to stage 4 right now. That is Zol Esports, that is No Org, that is AIM-PH, as well as Velocity Gaming. A very stacked roster of players, talented players, over from the Philippine squad as well. Literally, any one of these teams could actually make a run for their money. But the best thing about that is that we're not done, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. There's still a lot more coming through. This is just stage 1.
Yeah.
We got 5 stages in total. Yung mga nanalo sa ating regional qualifiers, they head straight to stage 4. But before that, of course, we're gonna have groups. We're gonna have play-ins. There's a lot more teams. There's a lot more chances to get in. And I think that's the best part about Predator League. You get a spotlight no matter where you come from.
Yep. At dahil doon, mga kaibigan, ang dami nangyayari sa Predator Gaming Squad. Kaya I-follow nyo na yung mga socials namin. Ang dami namin all across social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, it's at Predator Gaming PH. We also have Twitter, or you can call it X. It is Predator PH as well. And over at Twitch, where you could also be watching right now, it's Predator Gaming _PH as well. So, you know, follow us over there doon sa Predator Gaming social media namin. At malalaman nyo kung ano yung mga announcements namin dahil Predator League all across 2024-2025 is packed. One hell of a huge event.
And I want to give massive shoutouts to PC Game Pass for sponsoring Predator League PH 2025. Guys, by the way, if you don't know what PC Game Pass is, it's a subscription platform where you get hundreds of AAA titles. And, eto pa, you get it for free on Predator Gaming if you get a Predator Gaming right now. Nakikita nyo naman sa website down below. Check it out on the Acer official website. Check out their gear. Check out a Predator Gaming laptop and get a 3-month subscription for absolutely free para mula sa Predator Gaming. So make sure to check that out, guys.
Yeah, I have the Game Pass itself, and it has been a huge incentive to get. So I recommend the PC Game Pass to everybody who is watching the stream right now, and to everybody who has been watching us from start to finish. Thank you so much for supporting the stream itself, for supporting the local scene and Valorant as a whole. My name is Ramon. With me is Datum, and we'll see you in the wild cards.
Bye-bye.
Spike down, C. Last player. Here we go. One enemy remaining. Last player sight. Spike down. One enemy remaining. 3 out of 5. Last player standing.
Gotta go.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Clutch.
One down.
Standing. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Gotta go. Next. You
Spike down. Attacker spawn. One enemy remaining. Spike down.
bye-bye. Gotta go.
One enemy remaining.
No charges.
Remaining.
No charges. Blinded.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Target 86.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining. Enemy remaining.
Give me those back. Eyes down.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing. Attackers win.
Go, go, go.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Slow.
Enemy remaining.